A peaceful village suddenly fell into chaos when news spread that the Goblin King's army was approaching. Panic swept through the streets as residents abandoned their homes and rushed to escape. Among the fleeing villagers was a young woman who desperately tried to keep up with the crowd. While searching for safety, she became separated from everyone else. Realizing she was alone, she called for help. But danger closed in before anyone could reach her. Several goblins surrounded the frightened woman and dragged her away from the village. She struggled to break free, yet their numbers made resistance impossible. The attackers carried her deeper into the darkness, while her cries faded into the distance. Inside a secluded location, the woman remained trapped by the goblins. Despite her efforts to escape, they ignored her resistance and continued to restrain her. Terror and helplessness overwhelmed her as she realized nobody knew where she had been taken. The situation grew even more threatening as the goblins prepared to impose their will on their captive. Exhausted and frightened, the woman continued to resist while hoping for rescue. As the goblins closed in on the captured girl, a sudden strike cut through the chaos. Several attackers were knocked aside before they could continue harming her. The unexpected intervention shocked both the goblins and their captive. A black-haired swordsman stepped forward and drove back the remaining enemies. The girl, still shaken by the ordeal, realized she had been saved. Relief began to replace her fear as the battle quickly turned in her favor. After securing the area, the swordsman lowered his weapon and accepted her gratitude with confidence. Rather than celebrating the victory, he seemed more interested in speaking with her. The man introduced himself in a casual manner and revealed an unusual request. His words left the girl surprised and uncertain, making her question who her rescuer truly was. Although he had protected her, his intentions remained difficult to read. The story then shifted to a broader perspective. The mysterious swordsman was revealed to be Takamichi, a traveler from another world and a legendary warrior known as the hero who defeated the Goblin King. His name had become famous throughout the land. After the fall of the Goblin King, Takamichi was summoned to a grand gathering attended by countless monsters and demon leaders. The atmosphere was formal, yet many eyes were fixed on the legendary hero who had changed the course of history. Standing before the assembled forces, the demon lord acknowledged Takamichi's achievements over many years. As a reward for his strength and accomplishments, the ruler announced an unexpected decision: the title of demon lord would be handed to him. Without hesitation, Takamichi rejected the offer. His answer was immediate and firm, showing no interest in the authority being placed before him. The hall fell silent as everyone processed his response. Confusion spread through the crowd. Several powerful monsters stared at him in disbelief, unable to understand why someone would refuse a position that commanded the respect and obedience of countless beings. Murmurs quickly turned into open criticism. Many believed Takamichi was wasting an opportunity that others could only dream of obtaining. While the gathering questioned his decision, he remained calm and unmoved, choosing his own path rather than accepting a throne he never desired. The demon lord's followers continued trying to persuade Takamichi to accept the throne. They listed countless rewards, including wealth, rare treasures, and influence. His refusal left many demons frustrated. Some complained that nobody would ever receive a better opportunity. Others argued that Takamichi and the demon lord were unusually close, making his rejection even harder to understand. Growing tired of the discussion, Takamichi brushed aside their arguments. To him, the promises being presented were meaningless compared to his own goals. With little interest in continuing the debate, he announced his intention to leave. After he departed, one of the demon nobles questioned the demon lord's fixation on the hero. The noble pointed out that there were many powerful candidates from respected bloodlines who could inherit the position instead. The answer revealed why Takamichi stood above the rest. His strength had allowed him to command numerous demons and achieve feats that few could match. In a world where power determined status, even the fiercest devils respected his abilities. For the demon lord, no other candidate possessed the influence, reputation, and overwhelming strength needed to fill the role as effectively as Takamichi. After rejecting the demon lord's proposal, Takamichi walked away from the gathering. Behind him, some leaders reflected on the consequences of his decision. His authority and influence had grown so great that they believed his impact would continue regardless of any title. Later, Takamichi wandered through a city in hell and looked back on the years that had passed. A decade had gone by since his reincarnation into this world. During that time, he had transformed from an ordinary newcomer into a figure known across many lands. Memories of his former life resurfaced as he recalled being an unremarkable high school student. Constant battles, long journeys, and countless encounters had gradually changed him. His achievements brought more than fame. Respect followed wherever he traveled, and wealth accumulated through years of success. Many residents viewed him as a legendary figure whose accomplishments had earned admiration from allies and rivals alike. As evening approached, several women gathered around Takamichi and sought his company. Their attention highlighted how popular he had become after years of victories and recognition. Surrounded by opportunities and praise, he continued moving forward while reflecting on the extraordinary path his life had taken. Takamichi considered his options carefully while surrounded by admirers. Despite being offered attention and companionship, he remained detached, aware of the responsibilities and challenges of his power. He experimented with a task required for progress in his abilities. Frustration grew as the outcomes repeatedly failed to meet the criteria he needed to unlock new potential. Despite repeated attempts, the results remained unsatisfactory. Takamichi analyzed the situation and concluded that current circumstances and available resources were insufficient to achieve his immediate goals. Reflecting on the rules and limitations of his system, he realized that certain prerequisites had to be met before further advancement could occur. Planning the next steps became his priority. As he evaluated the requirements, he noted a fundamental challenge. Some necessary elements simply did not exist within Hell. This insight clarified why progress had been impossible and guided his future strategy. Takamichi continued to interact with companions who supported his training. He acknowledged their assistance, and his abilities grew stronger through the guidance and cooperation he received. Reflecting on his progress, he noted that experiences in this environment shaped his strength and skills. Each encounter, challenge, and support from allies contributed to his development. Over time, he formed bonds with his companions. Their cooperation and mutual understanding enhanced his efficiency and growth, creating a network that reinforced his influence and control over his surroundings. Takamichi became aware of his nature as an incubus. This recognition provided clarity about his abilities, instincts, and role in interactions with others, shaping both strategy and personal identity. The revelation of his reincarnation as an incubus emphasized the transformation from his previous life. He had gained new abilities and status, marking a significant turning point in his journey and the recognition of his unique place in this world. Takamichi examined the traits of the incubus race. Their abilities allowed them to dominate and become feared across all species. Despite being infertile, their unique powers had ensured survival and prominence in the hierarchy of Hell. He reflected on his personal journey, realizing that it took only 10 years for him to rise as one of the strongest beings. His repetition and effort had refined his skills and solidified his reputation among demons. The scope of his abilities continued to intrigue him. A vast skill tree awaited further exploration, topped with a hidden ultimate skill. Limitations imposed by Hell's environment prevented immediate access, but his curiosity about future potential remained strong. Takamichi questioned the purpose and extent of his reincarnation and powers. Thoughts about whether he could achieve God-like strength and uncover the reasons for his return drove his next plans. He resolved to leave Hell in pursuit of answers, planning to use his skills strategically during this journey. With companions prepared to follow, he faced the next phase of his path, ready to test limits and expand his influence, while learning the secrets behind his extraordinary abilities. While spending time with Lulu, Takamichi was interrupted by an urgent telepathic message. The report mentioned a strange discovery at the frontier, something possibly connected to the world he came from. The information immediately caught his attention and changed his focus. Without wasting time, Takamichi decided to investigate. He quickly prepared to leave and instructed the messenger to remain at the location until he arrived. What had started as a peaceful moment suddenly became an important mission. As he got ready to depart, Lulu watched him with concern. His expression revealed that the news had affected him deeply. The possibility of finding clues related to his origins was too important to ignore. Takamichi reassured her that he would return. Although determined to leave, he did not dismiss the bonds he had formed during his years in Hell. Lulu remained silent, uncertain about what this new development might bring. Far away at the frontier, panic was already spreading. A frightened goblin urged others to flee, while a barren landscape stretched beneath the mountains. Whatever had appeared there was significant enough to alarm the local inhabitants, setting the stage for Takamichi's next journey. At the frontier, Takamichi faced a sudden crisis. Creatures of massive size appeared, and a wolf commander ordered his forces to retreat. Despite the danger, some stood their ground, determined not to surrender against the unknown threat. The army confronted a massive chimera, a creature far larger and more formidable than expected. Its presence demanded caution, as the beast's size and power suggested a threat beyond normal measures. Preparing for combat, the defenders understood the challenge would require their full strength. Takamichi arrived on the scene, immediately drawing attention from the creatures. Allies and rivals alike acknowledged his presence, recognizing his authority and ability to change the situation. The Chimera commander and other forces attempted to assert control, claiming their target. Takamichi's intervention disrupted their plans, allowing him to assert dominance over the battlefield. The presence of a strong leader shifted the dynamics among both allies and enemies. With precision and agility, Takamichi engaged the giant creature. He executed a powerful strike that knocked the chimera off balance, demonstrating skill and control. Observers were stunned by his strength, realizing his arrival had changed the outcome and reassured those who had feared the beast. The battle continued as the massive chimera was hurled across the battlefield. Its enormous body tore through the landscape, scattering debris and leaving destruction in its wake. Takamichi calmly observed the result of his attack. Although the strike had succeeded, he realized the monster was stronger than expected. Nearby warriors watched with admiration, recognizing that only someone of his level could challenge such a beast directly. Refusing to fall, the chimera released a furious roar. Energy gathered around it as the monster prepared a dangerous counterattack. The surrounding area trembled, while the defenders braced themselves for what was coming next. A magical formation appeared in front of the creature, signaling the activation of a high-ranking spell. Experienced soldiers immediately understood the threat and warned others. The battlefield grew tense as the attack neared completion. Before the chimera could fully turn the tide, a warrior from the allied forces rushed forward. With perfect timing, he unleashed a powerful technique that cut through the incoming attack and surged across the field. The clash of overwhelming powers shook the area, proving that the defenders were not willing to surrender despite the monster's terrifying strength. The chimera unleashed a powerful magical attack across the battlefield. Energy surged through the area, forcing nearby soldiers to watch helplessly as the destructive force advanced toward them. Takamichi stepped forward and activated a high-level anti-magic shield. The barrier neutralized the attack before it could cause serious damage. Observing the creature's abilities, he concluded that the chimera did not originate from hell, and prepared to end the battle quickly. After securing the battlefield, Takamichi casually warned his allies to watch their footing. His relaxed attitude confused some of the soldiers, who could not understand why he remained so calm in the presence of such a dangerous enemy. Moments later, dark pillars erupted from the ground and trapped the chimera from every direction. The beast struggled violently, but the spell overwhelmed it. While examining the creature, Takamichi attempted to communicate and noticed signs that it reacted differently from ordinary monsters. Once the chimera was subdued, Takamichi shifted his attention to its origin. Reports confirmed that the creature had emerged from a nearby cave. With the battlefield secured and new clues discovered, he began investigating the location, believing it might be connected to the mysterious phenomenon that had drawn him to the frontier. After defeating the chimera, Takamichi arrived at the cave from which the creature had emerged. Believing the location might hide new dangers, he ordered his companions to remain outside while he investigated alone. Before entering, he instructed them to deliver a report about the situation. His allies accepted the order without hesitation. As they withdrew from the entrance, Takamichi stepped into the darkness and began exploring the ancient structure concealed beyond the cave. Moving through the ruins, he recalled stories he had heard throughout his years in Hell. According to old legends, Hell was only one fragment of a much larger world. Long ago, divine forces had separated the realms to protect countless lives from repeated calamities. Those legends also spoke of hidden passages connecting different worlds. For years, Takamichi had searched for evidence that such gateways truly existed. The possibility of finding one was the reason he had investigated every unusual phenomenon that appeared across Hell. Covered by vines and age, the site immediately caught his attention. Standing before the mysterious gateway, Takamichi realized that he had finally found the object he had been searching for throughout his entire journey. Standing before the ancient gateway, Takamichi sensed an overwhelming concentration of magic. Despite the lack of sunlight, vegetation covered the ruins, suggesting that the portal had been influencing the area for a very long time. After examining the structure, he concluded that it was a teleportation gate connecting distant worlds. Excitement grew within him as he realized that stepping through it could finally allow him to leave Hell and continue his search elsewhere. Before activating the gateway, Takamichi paused for a moment. Countless possibilities lay beyond the portal, and there was no guarantee of what awaited him on the other side. Even so, his determination never wavered. A faint smile appeared on his face as he reflected on the past decade. Hell had once been a strange and hostile place. Images of his journey flashed through his mind. He remembered fierce battles, trusted allies, unexpected friendships, and the many people he had met along the way. Those memories reminded him how far he had come since arriving in Hell as an ordinary student. With his resolve strengthened, Takamichi prepared to step beyond the gateway and begin the next chapter of his adventure. Standing before the portal, Takamichi reflected on the life he had built in Hell. What had once been a hostile world had become a place filled with companions and memories. Although he intended to leave, he promised himself that he would one day return to those waiting for him. With his decision made, he approached the gateway without fear. The destination beyond remained unknown. But years of hardship had forged his confidence. Whatever awaited on the other side, he believed he had the strength to overcome it. A surge of determination filled him as he activated the portal. The long search had finally reached its conclusion. Without hesitation, Takamichi stepped forward and entrusted himself to the path ahead. Moments later, he emerged into a completely different place. Bright skies stretched overhead while trees and mountains surrounded the ancient ruins. The peaceful scenery contrasted sharply with the harsh environment he had left behind. Far away, Lulu suddenly sensed something had changed. The connection she felt with Takamichi seemed more distant than before. As she looked toward the horizon, she realized that his long-awaited journey had truly begun. A young woman hid among the trees while several pursuers searched the forest. Their voices grew distant as they failed to find her. Leaning against a trunk, she struggled to catch her breath and prayed for safety. After hearing the search party move away, she cautiously looked around, hoping the danger had passed. Her relief lasted only a moment. From behind a nearby tree, a goblin suddenly appeared. The creature had been watching silently and immediately noticed her hiding place. Fear spread across her face as she realized she had escaped one threat only to encounter another. Panic took over. She tried to pull away and flee deeper into the forest, but the goblin moved faster. The distance between them vanished in seconds. Desperation filled her mind as she searched for any way to escape. The goblin caught her before she could get far. Struggling against its grip, she fought to break free, but her strength was not enough. The creature restrained her, while she continued resisting, terrified of what might happen next. Her attempts to escape gradually weakened as the goblin maintained control. Tears formed in her eyes while she endured the frightening situation. Alone in the forest and far from help, she could only hope that someone would find her before it was too late. Takamichi arrived just in time. The black-haired man suddenly appeared behind the goblins, striking them with deadly precision. The creatures fell one by one, their attack halted instantly. Takamichi watched in shock as the battlefield transformed in an instant. The black-haired man glanced around, noting the destruction. His expression showed weariness from past struggles, yet he remained composed. Takamichi realized the world remained dangerous, but this newcomer's strength was undeniable. A force that could shift the tide against overwhelming odds. He approached Takamichi carefully, extending a hand to help her to her feet. She hesitated, still trembling, but slowly accepted the aid. The forest felt calmer around them, though the threat had not vanished entirely. Relief mixed with uncertainty. As she recovered, Takamichi observed him closely, curiosity evident in her wide eyes. The man offered a reassuring smile, acknowledging her cautious stare. His presence radiated confidence, a stark contrast to her fear. Questions lingered as Takamichi tried to comprehend the man's power. He spoke of the dangers beyond the gate and the strong barrier magic he had faced. Her attention remained fixed, processing his words and presence. After being rescued, the young woman suddenly turned her anger toward Takamichi. Overwhelmed by confusion and embarrassment, she accused him of having improper intentions. Takamichi quickly raised his hands and stepped back. Without warning, she rushed forward and collided with him. The impact knocked Takamichi backward, leaving him stunned. Instead of relief after the rescue, the encounter became increasingly chaotic as neither of them understood the other's reaction. While trying to regain balance, Takamichi accidentally moved closer than intended. The young woman immediately became flustered and suspicious, her emotions mixed fear, gratitude, and confusion, causing her to misinterpret every action around her. Only then did Takamichi realize the source of the misunderstanding. His unusual condition had unintentionally affected her emotions, making the situation far more complicated. Embarrassed by the realization, he understood that saving her from danger had been much easier than explaining himself afterward. The young woman remained under the strange influence surrounding Takamichi, and became increasingly emotional. Despite his repeated attempts to calm her, she focused entirely on him and ignored his warnings. Takamichi realized the misunderstanding was growing worse by the second. Trying to keep control of the situation, he struggled to maintain his distance. The unusual effect linked to his incubus abilities continued to affect her judgment, making every effort to reason with her far more difficult than expected. As the confusion escalated, Takamichi desperately searched for a way to explain himself. Rather than listening, the young woman became even more attached to him. What should have been a simple rescue turned into a complicated and awkward predicament. Their attempts to separate only created more chaos. Takamichi grew increasingly embarrassed while trying to avoid making the situation worse. Meanwhile, the young woman remained overwhelmed by emotions she could not fully understand. Eventually, both of them reached their limits. Takamichi recognized that his abilities were causing unintended consequences, while the young woman struggled to regain her composure. Surrounded by confusion and frustration, they faced the difficult task of clearing up the misunderstanding before moving forward. A formidable figure appeared before him, clad in black armor and riding a dark steed. The imposing presence immediately signaled danger, and Takamichi instinctively recognized the threat, bracing himself for the unknown challenge. The armored figure revealed a massive sword, declaring it as the Black Sword of Eternal Sexuality. Takamichi felt the weight of its power and the extreme nature of the threat posed by the mysterious warrior. Takamichi struggled to explain himself, expressing his inability to control his sexual powers in this world. The figure dismissed his reasoning, emphasizing that morality and endurance were unnecessary, reinforcing the urgency of the encounter. Finally, Takamichi realized he had been identified as an incubus. The armored opponent stressed that he would act without hesitation, leaving Takamichi to confront the full consequences of his uncontrollable abilities and face the immediate threat head-on. Takamichi's strange powers suddenly intensified. As he struggled to understand what was happening, a new surge of energy spread through him. The unexpected change caught both him and the young woman off guard, making an already confusing situation even harder to control. The young woman remained heavily affected by the influence surrounding Takamichi. Her emotions became stronger, while Takamichi grew increasingly alarmed by the consequences of his abilities. Realizing the situation was worsening, he searched for a way to stop it. Confusion continued to build between them. Despite Takamichi's experience dealing with his powers, he found this encounter unusually difficult to handle. Meanwhile, the young woman reacted in ways neither of them fully understood, leaving both overwhelmed by the circumstances. Determined to take responsibility, Takamichi decided he could not remain passive. He focused on helping her regain control, rather than letting her struggle alone. Although uncertain of the outcome, he chose to face the problem directly. Gradually, the tension between them began to shift. The young woman reacted strongly to even minor contact, revealing how deeply the strange influence had affected her. Watching this unfold, Takamichi realized that managing his powers would require far greater care if he wished to avoid causing further misunderstandings. The strange influence surrounding the pair continued to intensify. The young woman struggled to regain control of her thoughts while Takamichi attempted to keep the situation from spiraling further. As time passed, her reactions became stronger and more unpredictable. Takamichi realized that every attempt to calm her seemed to create new complications. Concern replaced his earlier confusion as he searched for a way to resolve the problem safely. Meanwhile, both found themselves overwhelmed by the unusual circumstances. The young woman alternated between embarrassment and uncertainty, while Takamichi fought to maintain his focus. Emotions finally reached a peak. Tears formed in the young woman's eyes as the pressure of the situation became too much to handle. Takamichi noticed her distress and understood that the misunderstanding had gone far beyond a simple mistake. Exhaustion eventually replaced the earlier chaos. The young woman collapsed onto the forest floor, breathing heavily as she tried to recover. Standing nearby, Takamichi reflected on everything that had happened. Although the immediate crisis seemed to be ending, both knew they would need time to recover and understand the strange events they had just experienced. After the chaotic encounter in the forest, Takamichi sat nearby and reviewed the results of the unusual events. To his surprise, he discovered that he had unlocked a new skill. The achievement left him excited, as it had been a long time since he had gained any meaningful progress. Carefully examining the details, he learned that the skill was connected to a rare condition that had been fulfilled during the incident. Takamichi reflected on how unusual the young woman was, and realized that meeting her had unexpectedly strengthened his abilities. While the young woman rested unconscious on the ground, Takamichi studied her more closely. Beyond her appearance, he recognized that her talents and potential were remarkable. Some time later, the young woman slowly regained consciousness. Confused and exhausted, she looked around the forest and tried to understand where she was. Takamichi greeted her calmly, relieved to see that she had recovered. As the conversation resumed, Takamichi casually praised her performance during the earlier ordeal. The unexpected comment immediately shocked her. Embarrassment spread across her face as memories began returning, while Takamichi realized his words had created yet another misunderstanding between them. Takamichi approached the young woman cautiously, trying to apologize and explain himself. She reacted angrily, still upset and embarrassed, keeping her distance and refusing to listen. The tension between them remained high as he struggled to regain her trust. Curiosity led Takamichi to ask about her presence in the forest. The young woman reflected on her unusual behavior earlier, blaming it on an accidental effect from consuming a strange mushroom. Both tried to process the confusing sequence of events. She explained her purpose in the forest, revealing that she was a doctor searching for medicinal herbs. Takamichi quickly connected this information to the bandits he had encountered, realizing the situation involved more than just their misunderstanding. Despite Takamichi's suggestion to leave quickly, the young woman insisted she needed to collect a rare herb to help her family. Her determination highlighted both her sense of responsibility and the importance of her task. Takamichi examined her skill tree, recognizing her race, age, and occupation. He noted her abilities and realized that collaborating with her could be highly advantageous. This insight shifted his focus from the prior chaos to the potential of their combined efforts. Takamichi noticed the young woman gathering herbs and realized she had unlocked a new skill related to medicinal herb detection. This enhancement seemed to improve her natural abilities, signaling growth and potential for future challenges. The young woman felt a sudden intuition guiding her. Takamichi observed her reaction, understanding that her newfound skill was activating. This allowed her to pinpoint locations of rare herbs with surprising accuracy. Guided by her senses, she identified the rare orange stonecrop she had been searching for. Its location, previously far away, now appeared clearly to her. Both acknowledged the unusual circumstances that enabled her to find it. Takamichi explained that he had subtly influenced her abilities, allowing her talent to manifest more effectively. She recognized his subtle intervention, realizing her progress was partially aided by his guidance and presence in the forest. With the herbs secured, Takamichi discussed his new abilities and potential future applications. He offered to escort her back to the village, emphasizing both her recovery and the opportunity to learn more about the world. Their cooperation marked a shift toward mutual understanding and collaboration. Takamichi and Ora continued their journey toward the nearest village. As they walked along the mountain path, Takamichi admired the scenery around him. After spending so much time in dangerous situations, the peaceful landscape finally gave him a moment to relax. The conversation soon shifted to their destination. Ora informed him that they were close to her home, and quickly corrected his overly familiar way of addressing her. Although embarrassed, she maintained a firm attitude and reminded him that they were still acquaintances. Not long afterward, Takamichi jokingly brought up the strange events that had happened in the forest. Ora immediately rejected his interpretation and defended herself, insisting that she had not been acting normally. As they continued walking, Ora became more serious. She thanked Takamichi once again for helping her but warned him that staying close to her could lead to trouble. Concern filled her voice as she considered the dangers that might follow them. The discussion turned toward Batan. The bandit leader connected to the earlier attack. Aura explained that he would likely seek revenge. Takamichi listened calmly before revealing his own resolve. Protecting those he cared about mattered more than avoiding conflict, and he showed no intention of backing down. Takamichi appeared in the clearing, startled by a distant voice. The sky stretched wide above, clouds drifting slowly. He paused, unsure of what had just occurred. The village lay quietly below, empty streets winding around stone houses. Morning light touched rooftops, casting long shadows. Takamichi moved cautiously, feeling the stillness and calm around him. A figure approached swiftly, drawing attention from villagers. Whispers spread as the villagers noticed her presence. She walked with confidence, her eyes scanning familiar faces, and soon everyone gathered. Children ran forward, adults turning to greet her. The woman allowed a small smile as people surrounded her. Relief and excitement filled the square, voices calling out her name, echoing between the buildings. At the edge of the crowd, a young girl fell to her knees, overwhelmed. Takamichi stepped closer, watching as she reached out. The reunion unfolded quietly, yet the moment carried weight, signaling a new chapter for those reunited. Takamichi stood among the villagers as they observed a heartfelt reunion. A young girl clung to her sister, overwhelmed by relief. The crowd shifted, watching the siblings reconnect with a mixture of joy and curiosity. Villagers approached, questioning how she had escaped danger. A man stepped forward, explaining the events quickly. Elders and familiar faces expressed gratitude, relief evident on every face. The tension eased as the story of survival became clear. The villagers offered hospitality to Takamichi for protecting the girl. He nodded silently. Accepting the offer, their gestures showed trust and appreciation, welcoming him into their community. The group lingered, discussing the escape and its unexpected outcome. At the table, Takamichi ate voraciously, sampling every dish set before him. The flavors were new, filling him with satisfaction. Eyes followed him as he enjoyed the meal, laughter and quiet amusement surrounding the scene. The girl, still cautious, watched him, expressing her determination never to return to the dangerous place. Takamichi observed her resolve and the protective stance of the sister beside her. The village settled into calm, the moment marking a transition toward safety and trust. While enjoying the village's hospitality, Takamichi listened as the elders discussed their situation. They explained that they could not offer what most travelers expected, because very few young women remained in the village. Several villagers lowered their heads as they continued. The shortage was not natural. Fear and loss had gradually emptied the village, leaving families worried about the future. Takamichi paid close attention, sensing that a dangerous force was responsible. Soon, the villagers revealed the source of their suffering. A ruthless bandit leader named Batan and his followers repeatedly raided the mountain region. Whenever they found women, they kidnapped them without hesitation. As the story unfolded, grim details emerged. Captured women were taken to Batan's stronghold and subjected to constant abuse. Few survived the ordeal, while others fell into despair. The image of the cruel stronghold lingered heavily in everyone's minds, strengthening Takamichi's understanding of the village's fear. The villagers admitted they had resisted many times. They fought back whenever they could, and even sought outside assistance. Despite their efforts, Batan remained beyond their reach. Hearing everything, Takamichi silently considered the situation and the challenge that now stood before him. The villagers continued recounting their tragedy. Batan's followers, many of them powerful demi-humans, overwhelmed every attempt at resistance. One raid after another devastated the settlement. As the attacks continued, many of the village's young men lost their lives trying to protect their homes and families. Seeking help, the villagers reported the situation to the Guard Association in Helterra. Their hopes quickly faded. The organization claimed its forces were occupied with a conflict against goblins and could not spare soldiers for a remote mountain village. Left without support, the villagers had no choice but to endure the danger alone. A map was brought out to explain the situation further. Batan's stronghold stood along the only route connecting the village to Helterra. Relocation was impossible, especially for the elderly. Dangerous forests filled with magical beasts surrounded the area, trapping the villagers between threats with no safe escape. The discussion turned toward Amira's rescue. Takamichi learned that the villagers had planned one final assault. Despite the overwhelming odds, they had been prepared to risk everything to bring her home, even if the attempt cost them their lives. Aura listened in shock as the truth settled in. The villagers explained that protecting Amira had been a shared promise. Remembering her mother's trust, they had chosen to stand together, placing the children's safety above their own future. Takamichi finished the meal and thanked the villagers. Their questions about his strength went unanswered, as he showed no interest in extending his help. The atmosphere shifted, leaving a quiet tension after the feast. The villagers discussed the limits of their expectations. They admitted that even if Takamichi joined them, victory against Baton was unlikely. Anxiety and fear were clear in their expressions, reflecting the hopelessness of their situation. Outside, the stronghold of Baton loomed in the distance. Guards and bandits patrolled relentlessly, their presence a constant reminder of the village's vulnerability. The path to freedom was blocked, and every approach seemed fraught with danger. The villagers confessed their desperation. They had attempted resistance and even sought outside help, but were met with failure. Each effort against Baton's forces resulted in setbacks, showing the scale of the threat they faced. Within Baton's stronghold, women were held under harsh conditions, the oppressors taunted those who tried to act, and captives endured relentless abuse. The cruelty of the place and its occupants made the stakes painfully clear for anyone planning to intervene. Inside Baton's stronghold, the bandit leader lounged among his followers, while captives remained under constant watch. News of a recent failure reached him, drawing his attention. Rather than showing concern, he focused on finding those responsible and tightening his control over the area. A woman named Violet stepped forward to receive orders, calm and disciplined. She listened as Baton assigned her a new mission. Without hesitation, she accepted the task and prepared to leave immediately. Her expression remained unchanged as she turned toward the exit. After Violet departed, Baton watched from within the fortress. Confidence filled him as he considered the village's resistance meaningless. Certain of his power and the strength of his forces, he welcomed any opposition. Meanwhile, the threat facing Takamichi and the villagers continued to grow. Aura and others gather for a meal, discussing their plans after lunch, ready for more. Suddenly, tension rises as a dark figure appears, looming over Aura, creating an unsettling atmosphere. The aftermath is chaotic. Aura lies surrounded by broken objects, her surroundings marked by destruction. Aura, teary-eyed, holds her voice in, pleading silently for her mother to protect Amira. In a moment of horror, Aura cries out, realizing her mother's tragic fate before her eyes. Takamichi wakes up Aura, teasing her about her silent stare, asking if she's in love. Aura reacts, surprised by Takamichi's strength, angrily questioning his sudden intrusion into her house. Aura questions Amira about eating food made by someone else, feeling suspicious about her actions. Takamichi and Aura discuss her Kukulu heritage, and the villagers' differences cause a brief moment of tension. Aura tries Takamichi's tamagoyaki, amazed by the taste. Realizing the versatility of eggs in cooking, Takamichi reacts to Aura's cooking, joking about how her seasoning choices were once deemed dark cooking. Aura expresses gratitude, feeling reassured by someone enjoying her cooking. Before inviting Takamichi to follow her, Aura leads Takamichi to a mysterious room, which he finds fascinating, comparing it to a laboratory. Takamichi humorously comments, noticing the room's odd feel, while Aura continues guiding him through her space. She, embarrassed and vulnerable, asks Takamichi in a suggestive tone if he wants to proceed further. Aura provocatively speaks to Takamichi, suggesting he only seeks her body, leaving tension in the air. She offers herself to Takamichi, saying she'll allow him to continue until he's fully satisfied. In a more intense scene, Aura urges Takamichi to run away from the village with her. Aura and Takamichi share a moment of playful tension, exchanging words while the atmosphere grows charged. Takamichi jokes about cold food, teasing Aura with a provocative comment about his preferences. Intensifying the moment, Takamichi observes Aura's vulnerability, contemplating how to take advantage of her fear of Baton, considering his options. Aura, concerned about Takamichi's desires, reflects on his preferences while questioning what more she could do. Tension builds in the village, as two guards stand at attention, sensing the looming danger. Urgency heightens as the group hears of an approaching threat, causing immediate action and a sense of danger. Takamichi attempts to calm Aura, urging her to escape to safety, despite her lingering uncertainty. Takamichi casually addresses the situation, reassuring others to continue eating while he checks out the commotion. A group of villagers prepare for action, with one woman threatening to kill a boy unless her demands are met. The mysterious woman coldly responds, revealing her identity as a skilled assassin, causing further tension. She demands immediate action, asserting her power and authority over the villagers, who are visibly intimidated. The scene shifts dramatically, with the woman carrying Takamichi and another, showing her dominance and control. Takamichi glances at the mysterious woman, remarking on her white appearance, both curious and slightly amused by her expression. A woman with a confident stance warns him not to get angry, her eyes sharp and cold. A dark power overwhelms her, revealing dangerous enhancements, poison, bleeding, and offensive boosts she can't ignore. The woman strikes the ground with intense force, shattering the stone beneath her in a powerful attack. Chaos erupts as the shockwave hits, causing two bystanders to scream in terror, their surroundings crumbling. With a sword in hand, the woman surveys the devastation, ready for whatever challenge lies ahead. A towering cloud of dust rises as the destructive power is acknowledged. The assassin's true strength shows. Takamichi reassures the onlookers, but they remain nervous, unsure of the dangerous battle ahead. The tense atmosphere escalates as they reveal her dual identities, an SS-ranked assassin feared by many. With a grin, Takamichi wonders what new power he'll unlock after this confrontation, anticipating the outcome. The attack begins. Takamichi's playful excitement is evident, while his foe's sharp reflexes counter the strike. A sudden strike to her body causes a fierce reaction. Her anger intensifies as the attack lands. She vows to kill him, her eyes burning with fury as she prepares for retaliation. The dagger is destroyed. His strength surprises her, as she watches her weapon crumble. The tension rises, her frustration mounting as she fights back against his overwhelming grip. Pinned down, she realizes her opponent's strength is not just physical, it's a force that paralyzes. Takamichi grins, proposing a deal. The crowd is in shock over his overwhelming control over Violet. Violet considers his offer. Her anger simmers, but she weighs the risks of staying bound. Refusing his proposal, Violet challenges him, declaring she would never align with such an ally. With determination, Takamichi counters her resistance, unleashing a powerful force, knocking her off balance. Violet, taken aback, watches as Takamichi narrowly avoids a fatal strike, barely escaping unscathed. The crowd reacts in shock, learning of Violet's rare demon eye, a skill few are born with. Violet vows revenge, unleashing her skill with an eye for an eye. Takamichi braces himself. The power intensifies, her Wind King's spear striking with devastating precision, leaving destruction in its wake. A massive shockwave tears through the village as Violet's attack rips apart buildings and scenery. The aftermath is horrifying. Half the village lies in ruins, the destructive force undeniable. Violet stands in the ruins, breathing heavily. Her attacks have wreaked havoc, but exhaustion sets in. She reflects on the high cost of her power. Magic drains her, but she remains determined. Takamichi casually emerges from the smoke, revealing his unscathed state. Violet's confidence falters at the sight. The crowd watches in disbelief. Takamichi's survival, despite the direct hit, seems impossible to comprehend. Violet is stunned. Her attack should have landed, but something unexpected happens. Takamichi evades it somehow. She charges forward, only to be caught in Takamichi's arms. His confident smirk suggests a shift. Violet's shock escalates as she realizes the power dynamic has shifted, and something strange is happening. Confusion fills the air as Takamichi casually contemplates the situation, considering the next steps in the encounter. Takamichi's playful attitude grows as he speaks, his smirk widening, while Violet's dismay becomes apparent. Violet is now restrained in chains, the situation shifting again as Takamichi prepares for his next move. Takamichi aggressively demands answers from Violet, tightening his grip, her defiance only fueling his anger. Standing over Violet, Takamichi smirks, radiating dominance while his weapon looms menacingly in the background. Violet struggles with her emotions, her resistance weakening as Takamichi's pressure forces her to submit. Takamichi mocks Violet's defiance, continuing to exert control over her, testing her resolve further. He revels in his power, while Violet's exhaustion grows, unable to escape his hold. Takamichi, frustrated with Violet's resistance, mocks her trembling body, emphasizing that the worst is yet to come. Violet protests as Takamichi moves closer, his touch invading her space, challenging her previously strong demeanor. Surprised by a sudden jolt of lightning, Takamichi stumbles back, realizing Violet holds an unexpected power. Violet reveals her secret, the demon eye, a blessing, but at a cost severe, irreversible consequences. She explains the curse of the demon eyes, immense power gained, but at a severe cost. The curse of the demon eyes is revealed, with many women suffering unbearable desires and tragic ends. Many girls embark on a hopeless journey to end their suffering, seeking the demon lord. Violet explains to Takemichi that Baton lacks the power to help, hinting at his inability. Violet clarifies her relationship with Baton, it's purely transactional, and she isn't emotionally involved with him. With a commanding gesture, Violet urges Takemichi to act, marking a decisive moment in their confrontation. Violet's confusion grows as she questions the unexpected sensations, struggling to understand what's happening to her. Her mind races with disbelief, unable to comprehend the situation as Takemichi continues his movements. Violet's internal conflict intensifies as she unexpectedly feels pleasure, questioning her experience and the strange sensations. Takemichi observes her reaction, his expression filled with curiosity, as the situation becomes increasingly complex. Realization hits Violet. She recognizes Takemichi as the demon lord, leaving her stunned and overwhelmed. Violet expresses her long-suppressed desires, revealing her yearning and desperation, finally letting go of restraint. Overwhelmed by years of longing, Violet can barely control herself, caught in the intensity of her emotions. Unable to hold back any longer, she experiences an overwhelming release, realizing how much she's desired this. Takemichi's smirk deepens as Violet is lost in the moment, both surprised and satisfied with the outcome. After the intense exchange, Takemichi examines a report about Violet, revealing a new mystery to explore. Takemichi calls Violet, who reacts with shock as his demon hand reaches her, invoking fear. Violet realizes Baton's influence as she discovers a dangerous insect inside her, threatening her life. Desperation fills Violet as she's confronted with the deadly insect, her frustration escalating at Baton's betrayal. Takemichi, uninterested in Violet's panic, casually dismisses the threat, showing indifference to the perilous situation. Violet, breathless, recognizes Takemichi as the demon lord, her realization filling her with both awe and terror. Aura watches from the corner as Takemichi shares a tense moment with a woman. She glances up at him, a cold look crossing her face as she speaks, slightly bitter. Takemichi's smirk fades, but his composure remains. He responds with an indifferent, almost bored attitude. Aura, annoyed, reprimands him with sharp words, her frustration clear despite the growing tension between them. Takemichi endured Violet's fierce attack, surprising all with his resilience inside the fortress walls. Captured, Violet face unknown threat. Leaders debate disposing her to prevent enemy alliance danger. The insect within Violet was destroyed. Concerns rise about potential powerful attackers among them. Confident in their castle's protection, the enemy plans how to handle this emerging annoyance. Outside, the wounded receive care amid ruins, signaling ongoing conflict far from the stronghold. Takemichi, wounded, feels grateful yet conflicted as Aura tends to him with quiet concern. The village, still scarred, quietly rebuilds while survivors gather to rest and reflect together. Amid casual talk, Violet's presence stirs mixed emotions and renewed questions about her loyalty. Village leaders seek Takemichi's aid against Baton, hoping his strength will bring quick victory. Takemichi coldly refuses, drawing harsh criticism for seeming indifferent to villagers' desperate plea. Violet confronts the angry crowd, warning them against risking the lives Lord Takemichi has spared. Takemichi calmly dismisses the villagers' unrest, urging Violet to move forward without looking back. Despite objections, he firmly declares his intention to kill Baton, refusing to leave threats unresolved. Recalling Baton's betrayal, Takemichi's resolve strengthens, fueled by a vow to protect those he loves. Early one morning, a determined healer ventures cautiously into the forest, seeking herbs and safety. She promises to care for the injured, determined to heal everyone in her struggling village. Though lacking fighting skills, the villagers bravely protect her, while she remains guarded and grateful. Fearless of death itself, she worries most about failing to protect the one she loves. Death surrounds her during battles. Only survival allows her to live, yet loved ones fall. Every evening, silence fills her home, broken only by the fading breaths of Amira. Mornings grow lively as the house fills with chatter and requests, signs of life returning. Shared meals bring comfort and smiles, showing newfound peace despite past hardships and uncertainty. Surprised villagers discuss Lord Takemichi's strength, amazed he withstands devastating blows unscathed. Taking stock, Violet reflects on past misjudgments, realizing trust can arise from unlikely sources. Meticulously, she crafts potent medicine, feeling her skills and strength surpass previous limits. New skills in herbs and medicine emerge as she carefully prepares healing potions through the night. Recovery is clear. Amira's health improves, surprising everyone and renewing hope within their small home. Quiet moments of self-care reflect her growing strength and determination despite ongoing challenges faced daily. Surrounded by books and plants, she refines her craft, pushing boundaries to surpass past limits. A dangerous decision surfaces as she contemplates a potent poison, aware of its lethal power. Aura quietly reflects on her promise to her mother, watching over those who rest peacefully. Close bonds form as the group sleeps like siblings, providing her comfort amid uncertainty. Tender moments reveal care between them, a soft contrast to the hard choices ahead. A heartfelt farewell and apology precede her determined departure, ready to face daunting challenges. With firm resolve, she vows to resolve problems by confronting and defeating Baton once and for all. Aura arrives guarded at a fortress, surrounded by wary guards as she faces an uncertain future. Presented before a hostile ruler, she endures unsettling advances while maintaining her composure and resolve. The ruler assesses her presence with crude remarks, making clear his unsettling intentions and power. Despite the tension, Aura meets the demands calmly, preparing for a difficult conversation ahead. Instead of conflict, she aims to negotiate with Baton, seeking a peaceful yet firm resolution. Aura boldly offers her loyalty, demanding freedom for the captive village women in exchange for service. Women endure harsh punishment under the ruler's harsh rule, struggling to maintain hope amid pain. Despite harsh rebuke from guards, she remains unwavering, prepared to fight for those imprisoned. Resolute, Aura expresses willingness to sacrifice herself, vowing to protect those who cared for her. Surrounded and judged by cruel eyes, she confidently challenges her captors to reconsider her worth. Aura is forced to comply under harsh scrutiny, struggling to maintain dignity in captivity. She suffers punishment and humiliation, yet remains determined not to lose hope or will. Despite abuse, Aura pledges loyalty to protect those who helped her survive vicious conditions. Her captors debate her worth while she stands resolute, refusing to be reduced to property. A shocking revelation emerges about her past, deepening the complexity of her fight and resolve. The ruler reacts with shock as Aura quietly prepares to execute her risky hidden plan. Unexpectedly calm, Aura uses a concealed weapon, catching her adversaries completely off guard in the tense moment. The enemy's surprise turns to panic as they realize the poison's potency threatens them all. Chaos erupts among the captors, their confidence shattered by the swift and lethal retaliation. Standing strong, Aura delivers a final warning, asserting control with unwavering resolve despite overwhelming odds. Aura recalls her mother's immense suffering, strengthening her resolve to confront the tormentor once again. Writhing in surprise, she suddenly finds herself entangled in a dangerous struggle with unseen forces. Despite injuries and setbacks, Aura's courage shines as she confronts her powerful adversary without fear. The captor reveals the uniqueness of her poison, underestimating her resilience and ability to retaliate. Threatened by vengeance, he vows to exact even greater suffering, fueling the dangerous confrontation's intensity. Aura regrets her inability to protect everyone, feeling powerless against Baton's overwhelming strength. Tentacles restrain her tightly, marking the moment she faces her dire predicament fully. Just as all seems lost, an unexpected ally arrives to intervene with swift action. The enemy is struck down violently, halting the immediate threat and creating a brief respite. A surprising expression of praise acknowledges Aura's bravery for venturing into such danger alone. Takemichi arrives unexpectedly, joining Aura in the fight, showing unexpected loyalty in a dire situation. Reinforcements burst into the scene, strength and numbers overwhelming, turning the tide against their foes. Amira anxiously calls out for her missing sister, a sense of urgency building in her heart. The group prepares for a rescue mission, unaware that danger looms ahead. Testing their courage, Takemichi firmly insists on saving Violet, though the strength of their enemy, Baton, remains a daunting challenge. A conversation about the past reveals secrets of Aura's childhood, highlighting her bravery in the village's debt. Takemichi, now facing resistance, confronts others with a harsh demand, revealing his unwavering determination. Takemichi exchange sharp glances, the tension between them palpable as she smirks playfully. Violet hesitates but agrees, her eyes scanning the surroundings as the situation grows uncertain. In a secluded alley, Violet feels overwhelmed, her composure beginning to crack under rising pressure. The intensity increases as Violet struggles with her emotions, clearly torn yet unable to resist. Violet's conflicted resolve falters, overwhelmed by the situation as Takamichi praises her response. The atmosphere thick with tension. A mysterious jar with a heart-shaped symbol is held up, sparking curiosity among the crowd. Takamichi hands over the jar, explaining its importance as others gather, awaiting instructions for battle. Chaos erupts as the group faces unexpected resistance, realizing they're up against a formidable force. The effects of Takamichi's actions begin to take hold, with villagers expressing their astonishment and newfound strength. Violet reflects on Takamichi's influence, acknowledging his power and the loyalty it inspires in others. The villagers cheer loudly, rallying behind Takamichi's influence, their voices united in praise of his power. In a darkened room, a figure questions Takamichi's actions, sensing a deeper, mysterious connection at play. Takamichi and Aura share an intense moment as she carefully watches him, sensing a hidden truth. Takamichi dismisses her concerns, but Aura, knowing the cost, quietly accepts his rationalization. Aura reflects on her past, realizing Takamichi's actions brought unexpected success, but also more challenges. Takamichi teases with a confident grin, praising Aura's strength and daring anyone to complain. Aura gives him a soft, knowing smile, but there's a hint of confusion in her eyes. An overwhelming force erupts. With Takamichi and Aura on the move, a fierce battle begins. The chaos intensifies as the monstrous enemy strikes, anger and fear overwhelming the surroundings. As the ground shakes, Takamichi and Aura face off against a monstrous foe, preparing for the next move. Takamichi prepares for a fierce battle, unleashing a devastating tentacle tsunami against his opponents. The monstrous forces react with fear as the power of the 4 demon gates emerges. Takamichi reveals his deadly skill, explaining its horrifying potential, even able to capture someone like Violet. In an explosive move, Takamichi shatters the massive tsunami, leaving his enemies in complete shock. Takamichi's mocking tone hits its target, reminding the beast of its remaining lives, further escalating the confrontation. Then he summons a sea demon to defeat his enemies, unleashing the beast's terrifying power. Takamichi arrogantly commands the demon, revealing its elite rank and special connection to fishfolk royalty. The creature's massive form shakes the earth as Takamichi uses his grasp of darkness technique. Aura expresses discomfort while Takamichi nonchalantly boasts about his love for receiving attention from women. The sea demon, shocked by Takamichi's audacity, watches in awe as he defies expectations. The fortress stands strong, but cracks appear as Takamichi prepares for an incoming battle. The atmosphere thickens. Projectiles fly, shattering the pillars as Takamichi moves swiftly, avoiding the deadly onslaught with precision. Dangerous enemies charge, armed and ferocious, forcing Takamichi to pause in cautious readiness. With speed and strength, Takamichi counters the assault, his cloak swirling as he lands powerful blows. A monstrous shark emerges, but Takamichi remains unfazed, quietly contemplating the challenge ahead. Takamichi smirks as he easily slices through the shark's body, preparing to finish it off. The summoned enemy is furious, but Takamichi remains unfazed, taunting the creature with his bold remarks. Despite the immense power of the mutant creatures, Takamichi remains calm, evading their relentless attacks effortlessly. His allies express disbelief as Takamichi overpowers the toughest opponents, confirming his status as a hero. In a sudden turn of events, Takamichi remembers the girls left behind, urgently rushing to their aid. Takamichi roars, frustrated as he catches a girl midair, refusing to let harm befall her. The girls, now united through a secret technique, are pulled together by Takamichi's strength. His grip ensures their safety, but a danger looms nearby, a tentacle tightening around them. The summoning circle pulses with strange energy, revealing an unknown force that defies comprehension. In the distance, a powerful figure summons destruction, sealing their fate with a dark pact. Kanaloa, the Coral Sea Lord, emerges, commanding immense power as he assumes a position of authority. He observes Takamichi's actions, noticing his strength and expressing disdain for the current era's royalty. The Coral Sea Lord demands power from his summoner, his pride evident in his regal stance. He introduces himself with authority, revealing his true name, yet refuses to acknowledge Takamichi's. Kanaloa declares Takamichi will stand before his might, ready to face him like the others before. Kanaloa summons a massive hand, its power palpable as it moves toward Takamichi's group. Takamichi, unfazed, jokes about the situation, while his enemies are left stunned by the unexpected turn. His smirk remains as the enemies scramble, realizing their final plan is crumbling before their eyes. Tauntingly, Takamichi questions his enemy's strategies, mocking their lack of a viable trump card. In a final desperate move, the enemies attempt to use whatever they can, but Takamichi is ready. Takamichi, frustrated, attempts to use his strength, but the holy lasso binds him tightly. Stunned by the sudden restriction, Takamichi realizes he cannot rely on his physical power. Struggling, he tries to break free, but the lasso holds him fast, preventing his movement. The system's warning pops up. Takamichi is cursed with light magic contamination, crippling his abilities. Shocked by his own weakness, Takamichi discovers his resistance to light magic is non-existent. The light magic vulnerability of demons is revealed. A woman meditates, considering an inevitable encounter soon. Aura and Violet realize Takamichi's barrier vanishes. Demons fear light magic, something even kids understand easily. Takamichi prepares an attack, focusing on his target. His powerful strike cuts through the air. A demon realizes Takamichi isn't invincible after all. The stolen item from the church worked. Violet resists, but the tentacles lash out, trapping her. Her desperate no echoes through the room. Takamichi, trapped by tentacles, smirks. With determination, he declares, "Time for payback, ready for revenge." The ground trembles as an ominous hole appears, drawing attention from the surrounding figures. A voice echoes, explaining the river of deadly poison, a remnant from a time of terror. The atmosphere shifts as the women react, shocked by the dark magic lurking within the castle. Tensions rise as an old obsession is mentioned, and a chilling invitation to face danger is made. A moment breaks as a confrontation escalates, words are exchanged, and the imminent threat looms. Aura's voice breaks the silence as Takamichi falls, helpless in the darkness below. Takamichi lies motionless, surrounded by thick, ominous mists that cloud the air, creating tension. Aura watches, realization dawning as the enemies continue their dark rituals, sealing off his powers. Violet's anger flares, but her strength is shackled by the overwhelming power of their captors. The creature's shock turns to rage, its gaze full of fury. Knowing the battle isn't over, Takamichi strikes back, vowing revenge as his enemy screams in agony, feeling the consequences. Surprisingly, Takamichi walks unharmed, his relaxed smile showing no trace of injury as questions arise. With confidence, Takamichi acknowledges his success, while the others express disbelief at his miraculous survival. The team discusses the situation as new arrivals prepare for their next challenge in the castle. Amidst the chaos, Takamichi's magic drains his enemy's power, leaving him vulnerable to his control. Takamichi smirks, taunting his enemy with cold words, revealing his dark nature in this confrontation. Aura hesitates before accepting Takamichi's knife, her determination building despite the dangerous tension around her. Confusion lingers in the air as Takamichi assures Aura, referencing their previous encounter with surprising calmness. A clash of intentions erupts. Violet demands action, while others question her readiness to take charge. Tensions peak as Violet asserts her authority, firmly declaring her role, while the group watches closely. The creature growls, threatening destruction as the group faces its fury. Tension fills the air. The group retaliates, shouting in unison as their weapons pierce the monstrous enemy's thick hide. The creature's pain intensifies, its blood splattering everywhere, while its defiance continues in frantic screams. Exhausted yet victorious, the group watches the fallen creature, its broken body pleading for an end. Takamichi's calm voice cuts through the chaos, teasing the creature as it falters, still holding on. A threatening presence looms over the group as a finger points, signaling the next step. The grotesque figure floats helplessly, confused and powerless as the battle's course turns against it. A shift in perspective reveals the figure's fantasies unraveling, a distorted vision of its desires. The scene grows tense as the figure's reality fractures, showing a shift toward darker pleasures. Violence erupts, a sudden action causing an explosion of power, ending the struggle with force. Takamichi endures the agonizing effects of extreme sensitivity, fighting to maintain his composure through immense pain. Surrounded by eerie figures, Takamichi faces the challenge ahead, knowing his trials are far from over. With chilling words, Takamichi is offered a twisted choice, intensifying the mounting pressure on him. Tired from the ordeal, Takamichi walks alongside Aura, reflecting on the weight of the journey. Aura sits solemnly on the wall, contemplating Takamichi's future while gazing at the distant horizon. Startled by an unexpected presence, Aura quickly shields herself, questioning the newcomer's intentions. Takamichi unexpectedly reaches out, creating a sudden and tense moment between them. Despite her surprise, Aura remains calm, offering a faint, knowing smile as Takamichi rests nearby. Together they overlook the vast landscape, a quiet connection forming beneath the sprawling skies as thanks is given. The village is renamed in Takamichi's honor, signaling a new era of unity and strength. Aura greets Takamichi warmly amidst the village celebration, her smile reflecting growing hope and trust. Crowds surround Takamichi, eager to show their gratitude, creating a bustling, lively atmosphere around him. Aura watches the enthusiastic followers, feeling conflicted as their overwhelming admiring attention grows intense. Despite the pressure, Takamichi politely declines invitations, retreating towards solitude as the day slowly ends. Aura prepares food thoughtfully in the quiet kitchen, concentrating on mixing ingredients carefully and steadily. Takamichi suddenly approaches, surprising Aura as their connection deepens amid playful exchanges and gentle teasing. She scolds him softly, blushing, while he admits avoiding the company of admiring village girls. A brief moment of tension fades, giving way to mutual understanding and shared warmth by evening. Plans to leave the village emerge. Takamichi contemplates expanding his knowledge beyond familiar boundaries. Now, Takamichi calmly explains his travel plans, reassuring Aura he won't leave the village permanently yet. Aura's surprised expression reveals her hope and concern as she questions his delayed departure. Playfully, Takamichi teases Aura, who insists on learning more from him and expressing her gratitude. Their closeness grows, the atmosphere shifting to intimate and sincere as he rejects a simple thanks. With tender affection, they share a meaningful kiss, deepening their bond before the uncertain future. Aura hesitates as she receives a tentative invitation, uncertainty mingling with quiet anticipation in her eyes. Quietly, Takamichi begins to remove her garments, marking the shift from nervousness to intimacy. Exposure reveals Aura's vulnerability and Takamichi's growing admiration, heightening the fragile tension between them. His gentle touch explores carefully, while her breath quickens, emotions bubbling beneath the calm exterior. Unexpected sensations break through resistance, leaving Aura overwhelmed but connected to Takamichi's careful presence. Takamichi comforts Aura gently, encouraging her trust as they begin a delicate, intimate experience together. With care, he asks for her consent, both sharing nervousness and hopeful anticipation in silence. Aura gathers her courage, preparing slowly as Takamichi remains patient and attentive to her needs. Their rhythm builds cautiously, tension weaving between discomfort and connection, deepening an unspoken bond. Despite challenges, Aura insists on continuing, determination evident as Takamichi watches over her with concern. Takamichi offers reassurance, promising to ease any discomfort with his magic if necessary during their interaction. Slowly, Aura acknowledges the sensations she feels, the initial pain giving way to gradual comfort. The intimate moment intensifies as both become more attuned, deepening their fragile connection carefully and steadily. Exhausted but fulfilled, their expressions reflect relief and growing affection following the intense experience shared. Later, a thoughtful conversation begins, revealing deeper questions about feelings and the nature of their bond. Takamichi acknowledges Aura's medical skill, complimenting her expertise gained through proper training and practice. Conversations shift to ambitious plans involving a powerful drug intended to enhance desires across races. Meanwhile, a vigilant elf maid keeps watch over the estate, alert to any unusual activity outside. Commands are given, signaling the mistress's impending return and the need for careful preparation ahead. The ritual reaches its climax as the woman reaches a powerful release, marking its significant end. Exhausted, she explains her strong connection with Takamichi, who participated in the intimate ritual together. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes dramatically with a violent act that shocks everyone present nearby. The unexpected outburst stuns the witnesses, amplifying the tension and unpredictability of the situation. A sharp-tongued woman mocks Takamichi's generosity, questioning the true cost behind his. The nuns reveal the ritual's purpose, preventing a looming disaster by making significant sacrifices. A hooded figure explains the sacrifice shortages, but assures that they will be obtained eventually. Suddenly, Takamichi gasps, shocked by a sudden, powerful event that disrupts everything around him. Violet and the group share a relaxing moment, feeling magic's restoration in a magical open-air bath. The demon lord questions how a human like Chrysora endures dark magic calmly. The nuns explain their ritual aims to prevent an impending catastrophe threatening the land of Helterra. A hooded figure reveals the need for sacrifices, expressing determination to obtain them for the angel. Takamichi is shocked to witness the legendary Coral Sea Lord Kanalua's powerful presence and protection. An alliance forms as Takamichi agrees to revive the ancient being, becoming his guide and escort. Suddenly, a report arrives. Visitors from Helterra, possibly royalty, demand the group's immediate attention. A carriage arrives late, while guards insist the mistress not be kept waiting any longer. Marta, the head maid, demands respect and declares her family's authority over visitors in Helterra. Curious, Takamichi touches her tail, intrigued by its unexpected softness and unfamiliar sensation. Marta erupts in anger, fiercely defending her honor and condemning Takamichi's disrespectful behavior. Violet returns unexpectedly, declaring she left adventuring to serve Takamichi, despite overwhelming demands from others. Marta prepares to attack Takamichi for his perceived offenses against Violet and her own honor. Suddenly, a confident woman arrives, identifying herself as the true figure they've been seeking. The newcomer's identity surprises everyone. Belial Adrian, head of the influential Adrian family. Takamichi introduces himself, beginning an important meeting between powerful figures with shared interests. Belial sniffs Takamichi, showing an unusual familiarity, leaving him both confused and intrigued. Belial confesses to sensing a dangerous, intoxicating aura around Takamichi, marking him as unique. Asking kindly, Belial recognizes Violet and warmly greets her after their long separation. The group questions Belial's intentions as he requests Marta to hand over an important item. Takamichi is surprised to receive an invitation to a prestigious banquet hosted by Helterra's lord. Officials explain the event's exclusivity, highlighting the presence of royalty and a mysterious elf princess. Takamichi eagerly accepts the invitation. Encouraged by Belial's warm approval and anticipation for their next meeting, Belial departs confidently, while Marta looks displeased, signaling underlying tensions within the group's dynamic. Current reports reveal the ongoing fight against goblins and Helterra has turned desperate due to stronger enemies. The captive woman pleads desperately for help, her strength fading as the monstrous threat closes in. Goblins surround her, the immense leader raising his weapon, signaling imminent danger and desperate urgency. A desperate plea for help echoes as soldiers rush to save the captive woman from danger. The soldiers charge fiercely, launching an attack to confront the monstrous foe terrorizing the battleground. Fear grips the defenders, who desperately await the arrival of a hero to turn the tide. Takamichi and Violet reached Helterra's outskirts, admiring the peaceful yet imposing castle from afar. The city stretched wide below them, larger and livelier than they had imagined for Helterra. Understanding city rules, they left their horses at the stable before entering the guarded gates. As they talked about war and travel, the massive city entrance loomed with vigilant guards. A stern knight questioned their purpose. Takamichi calmly prepared to explain their foreign intentions. Takamichi nervously flipped a coin, trying to decide how to answer the guards' questioning. Violet's confident gesture convinced the guards to open the gate, allowing them safe passage inside. They exchanged words about trade, noting how wealth remains crucial even amidst ongoing war struggles. Wandering through Helterra's quiet streets, Takamichi noticed the city's vibrant size but lacking energy. Residents suffer poverty, disease, and emptiness after the goblin calamity decimated trade and population. Takamichi learned Helterra's ruling nobles were few, including Lord Carmel holding nobility and royalty ranks. The Carmel family holds power over internal affairs, diplomacy, governing alongside council and church officials. Another noble family controls magic, alchemy, smithing guilds, proud of their city's technical advancements. The Mont family governs agriculture, finance, and thieves' guilds, rumored to engage in illegal trades. Strength comes from the K-Roll family, leading the Knight Order that maintains Helterra's battlefronts. The Adrian family manages general goods, appraisal, liquor guilds, and oversees the Adventurous Guild despite weak influence. Takamichi recognized the Adventurers Guild was managed by Belial Sama's family, known for its unique reputation. Entering the Adventurers Guild hall, Takamichi felt the freedom and opportunity it offered registered adventurers. Inside, many adventurers gathered, marking the hub of Helterra's questing community and job seekers. Suddenly, Violet, the solitary white flower, appeared, drawing attention for her rarity in difficult quests. Violet's power and beauty inspired awe. Many adventurers admired her, dreaming to serve at her side. Upon arrival, Violet sought a special favor not related to common quests currently available. Takamichi surprisingly gained Violet's recommendation, causing astonishment and curiosity among the guild staff present. To assign him a rank, the guild required Takamichi to test his strength using a crystal ball. Test results revealed Takamichi's strength was below average, marking him as a rank D adventurer. Guild members and onlookers reacted with shock and confusion as Takamichi's low strength was revealed. Violet defended Takamichi firmly, while skeptics angrily questioned his connection to her noble status. Takamichi confessed openly he wasn't noble, surprising many with his unapologetic, bold declaration. Defying expectations, he proudly claimed to be Violet's dog, openly embracing his role beside her. The crowd's stunned silence met Violet's unexpected reaction, leaving everyone uncertain of what would follow. Rumors spread wildly. Shocked onlookers speculate that Takamichi, Violet's dog, might be her secret servant. Takamichi explains his role as Violet's servant, though the title carries difficult responsibilities and strict demands. Meanwhile, powerful nobles notice Violet's actions after her absence, intrigued by her new notable companion. Rumors about Takamichi's role spread quickly, causing shock and suspicion among nobles and guild members alike. He calmly explains the demanding but loyal role he plays beside Violet, accepting the weight. Tensions rise as a bold challenge is made, escalating into a serious and risky duel proposal. The challenge leads to intense moments, revealing strength and resolve amid an unexpected, high-pressure confrontation. Despite obstacles and restrictions, Takamichi remains determined. Domi, a skilled archer, impresses others with her expertise after just joining the Adventurers Association. The guild's leadership warmly greets Domi, recognizing her skills and welcoming her into the community. An invitation to join a party is extended, offering Domi a chance to team up. Courteously, Domi offers a handshake to the party leader, marking the start of a new alliance. The leader accepts the greeting with respect, signaling the beginning of a promising partnership. Despite his toughness, Takamichi struggles with physical pain. Others show concern for his endurance. Helena criticizes those who grow arrogant after a small measure of talent, warning against complacency. Eyes turn toward Helena, recognizing her noble status and formidable power within the Adventurers Association. She commands attention as she approaches, signaling her influential role among both nobles and adventurers. Takamichi's companions praise his insight, affirming his valued role and their strong friendship. An aide urgently informs Takamichi that Helena, a powerful noble, demands his presence immediately. Helena's reputation for intimidating newcomers precedes her, causing concern about her intentions toward Takamichi. Without hesitation, Helena summons Takamichi, aware of his connection to Violet and his role as manservant. Suddenly, Takamichi vanishes, surprising everyone as his disappearance signals unexpected abilities or preparation. Helena praises Takamichi's understanding of his position, crediting Violet's guidance for his respectful behavior. Helena reveals surprising skills. Takamichi, Violet's manservant, can actually speak, deepening intrigue around him. Unexpectedly, Helena offers Takamichi a challenge, to leave Violet and serve her instead, demanding loyalty. Allies express shock, realizing Helena's true rivalry is with Violet, not Takamichi's abilities. Helena's plan to humiliate Violet centers on controlling Takamichi, using him as a tool of power. Proud of her noble heritage, Helena scorns Violet's rise, insisting Takamichi choose her allegiance instead. Helena reveals that Takamichi can speak, adding complexity to his role and her challenge. Unexpectedly, she demands Takamichi abandon Violet and become her loyal servant instead. Shock spreads, as allies realize Helena's true goal is to humiliate Violet through Takamichi. Helena orders Takamichi to prove his loyalty by performing a demeaning act before her. His friends plead with him, fearing Helena's test will disgrace both Takamichi and Violet. Helena commands Takamichi to dishonor Violet by licking her shoe, shocking all present. Despite objections, Takamichi begins to obey, enduring the humiliating test with reluctant determination. Helena reacts with surprise and anger as the scene provokes strong emotions around her. Violet desperately tries to intervene, unwilling to watch her servant demean himself under Helena's orders. Amid chaos, Takamichi reveals a shocking transformation, leaving everyone stunned and uncertain about what's next. Helena's anguished scream fills the room, overwhelmed by Takamichi's humiliating obedience to her command. Violet brings a tray to Takamichi, apologizing for her mistake as others watch the scene unfold. Helena stands confused as the chaos continues, questioning if anyone truly wants tea amidst the chaos. Takamichi grins while getting hit, completely unfazed, while Helena prepares to confront him with fury. Helena's anger builds, and she declares her intent to burn Takamichi for disrespecting her noble body. Violet urges everyone to flee as Helena's immense magical power threatens to engulf them in flames. Helena unleashes a powerful attack, shouting "Die!" as her magic weapon spins fiercely toward her target. Takamichi stands confidently, summoning dragon heads that shoot powerful flames, preparing for the upcoming battle. Helena is startled as the explosion erupts in front of her, causing confusion and intense fear. Violet, standing protectively by Takemichi, prepares to face Helena's magic, determined to shield him. The tension rises as Helena confronts Violet, demanding retribution for the actions of her dog. Helena easily dodges the attack, mocking her opponent's slowness as her magic moves at lightning speed. Violet struggles to keep up, as Helena's rapid movements and speed completely overwhelm her defenseless stance. Helena counters with a passive flame shield, explaining she's grown stronger while maintaining a confident expression. Violet realizes the danger as Helena unleashes a powerful wind-based attack, urging everyone to take cover. The devastating blast of the wind attack tears through the surroundings, causing widespread destruction and chaos. Helena confidently explains how wind strengthens fire as her shield whirls around, prepared for battle. Violet struggles against the intense force, realizing too late that Helena's power has grown immensely. Violet sees the overwhelming defense, realizing her opponent's strength has increased, while her shield defends. Helena warns that as long as the fire shield holds, Violet has no chance of winning. Violet then reveals a counter, explaining that she can destroy the fire shield by trapping air. Helena activates her fire shield at full strength, declaring her power as Violet prepares to counter her. Violet is struck by a powerful wind blade, realizing too late the intensity of the attack. Helena intensifies her wind attack, declaring that Violet's efforts are futile while wielding the power of the evil eye. Violet begins to notice the weakening of her shield, realizing it may not hold much longer. After the battle, Helena admits her defeat, acknowledging Violet's clever strategy of cutting off her air supply. Helena reflects on the importance of talent, asserting her superiority, while Violet wonders about her true abilities. She dismisses Violet's talents, claiming she can't be defeated, her newfound confidence radiating. As the winds intensify, Violet senses a dangerous shift, realizing Helena is growing increasingly confident. Helena declares her dominance, activating a powerful new ability that shocks Violet and the onlookers. Violet, determined, vows to win despite the overwhelming odds, challenging Helena's unshakable confidence in the battle. Shockwaves from the impact send debris flying as the protagonist struggles to maintain their balance. Drawing upon her own life force, she casts a devastating spell, determined to overwhelm her opponent. With a violent surge, the air ignites and the flames spread uncontrollably across the battlefield. Both forces clash with devastating intensity, the wind spiraling into a massive storm of destruction. Realization dawns as the battle escalates, the magnitude of the destruction becoming impossible to ignore. Violet struggles against the overwhelming power of her opponent, who is using the witch reincarnation spell. The opponents discuss Helena's power, with the recognition that it is beyond the typical hero level. Violet tries to withstand the immense power unleashed, but she is unable to stop the incoming destruction. The sudden realization dawns on Violet as she watches her flames erased with a single blow. The peaceful town is disrupted as a massive force shakes the buildings. Dust fills the air. Takemichi, Violet, and Helena react in panic. A powerful wind spins uncontrollably through the streets. Violet whispers to Takemichi, warning him of their vulnerability. Helena nervously watches the developing chaos. Takemichi smirks, casually dismissing the danger. He plans to manipulate the situation for his own benefit. In the heat of conflict, Helena's frustration boils over, and Takemichi's cold words strike her deeply. Helena's breathing weakens, her body limp. Panic sets in as they urgently call for help. Inside a dimly lit room, Irena struggles, still desperate to save Helena despite the situation worsening. Irena pleads, begging for help. Despite her SS rank, the healing magic proves insufficient to heal Helena. Frustration mounts as Irena realizes there's nothing more she can do. Helena's life fades quickly. Weakly, Helena speaks, accusing herself for her actions. Her anger at Takemichi is evident as she struggles. Violet wonders how many times she's been used. Her frustration grows with each passing moment. Takemichi reflects on his previous missions, recalling the time he used his powers in key moments. Helena, determined, reveals the truth behind her actions. Her wish was rejected, leaving her defeated. The room remains silent as Helena's sorrowful words hang in the air, her feelings exposed. Takemichi, sensing an opening, steps forward. His kiss silences her, altering the course of their fate. As Takemichi holds Helena, the room erupts with concern. Her sudden distress sparks a loud outcry. Grinning, Takemichi justifies his actions. He's determined to take control, enjoying the situation with ease. Helena, enraged, confronts him. Her temper flares and she threatens to end the tension violently. A stunned silence follows her outburst. But soon, relief replaces the anger as Helena feels better. Takemichi smiles, explaining the secret behind the healing. He turns his magic into pure vitality. Takemichi smiles awkwardly, hiding his unease, while Helena looks at him, questioning his actions. Helena feels a sudden, overwhelming heat, unable to control her body's reaction to the changes. Takemichi's gaze sharpens as Helena's resistance weakens, both feeling the intensity of the moment. Irina watches closely, understanding the complexity of Helena's situation, while Takemichi continues his involvement. Helena struggles with the new sensations, her body betraying her, while onlookers exchange worried glances. Takemichi's expression shifts as Helena reacts, her body betraying her resistance, eyes clouded with emotion. Helena's discomfort deepens as Takemichi's actions escalate, her voice strained with a mix of surprise. Helena's inner conflict intensifies, her breath quickening as the overwhelming sensations take control of her. Takemichi's smirk deepens as he plays with the situation, while Helena struggles to understand her feelings. The climax of the moment builds, Helena's body trembling uncontrollably, her mind lost in the confusion. Helena's playful expression grows as Takemichi praises her, enjoying the shift in their dynamic. Confidently, Helena orders Takemichi, asserting her dominance as she instructs him to fully devote himself. The building stands in ruins, with President Marta fuming over the destruction of her office. Takemichi realizes his involvement in the chaos, while the scene grows tense, Marta's anger palpable. Marta reprimands Takemichi, furious about his actions, her voice sharp as she demands accountability. She shifts her tone, offering Takemichi a task to make amends, involving a dangerous quest. Takemichi expresses frustration, but Marta's suggestion of using Puppy for her challenge pushes his buttons. Oasis-sama is missing. After her journey to help refugees, communication has been cut off. Helena hesitates, as Takemichi is informed of the dangerous mission, infiltrating enemy territory for Oasis-sama. Takemichi's determination grows stronger. He declares he will save Oasis-sama, despite the dangers ahead. The battlefield is chaotic, with goblins and soldiers clashing. Bloodshed is everywhere as the struggle intensifies. Amid the carnage, a faint figure emerges. Oasis-sama's fate remains uncertain. As the battle rages on, the two women crouched, waiting in silence. Their surroundings were tense, filled with unseen threats. Suddenly, they were captured by rough hands. Struggling, they yelled out, hoping to escape. Fear gripped them as one woman's protests grew louder, her body forced into a horrifying position. Pain and fear collided, the struggle growing more intense. Their voices pleaded for mercy, but it was futile. The situation worsened as they were cornered. Desperation surged, but there was no way out. Desperation gripped her as the rough hands tightened their hold. Her voice echoed in fear. She struggled, but their control was firm. Pleas mixed with fear as they drew closer. Her cries grew louder, refusing to give in. The grip tightened and the situation worsened. The tension escalated as her body was forced further into a corner. There was no escape. Suddenly, chaos erupted as a powerful force intervened, tearing through the attackers with ferocity. The attacker's skull shattered with brutal force. His grip on his weapon loosened as he fell. Helena and Violet calmly walked into the aftermath, their smiles both triumphant and casual. Takemichi, ever the skeptic, avoided their gaze. Helena nudged him playfully, teasing him about his reluctance. Gratitude was exchanged as the two women began catching their breath, the battle finally over. In the quiet aftermath, they discussed their next steps. The forest offered brief respite from chaos. Violet and Helena sat in contemplation, reflecting on the brutal attack and the fate of others. Helena's voice echoed with concern. She noted a disturbing shift in the goblin's behavior. Takemichi joined the conversation, his nonchalance hiding his true thoughts about the goblin's darker intentions. A light-hearted moment interrupted the tension as they bantered. Yet their surroundings remained dark and foreboding. The goblins, driven by instinct, overwhelmed the helpless woman, their vile nature fueling their actions. A skilled adventurer steps into the fray, determined to put an end to the goblin menace. Despite the danger, some women meet a tragic fate, consumed by the horrors of the goblin's greed. In the peaceful town, people savor their safety, unaware that ancient threats still lurk in distant lands. A group of adventurers, curious and uneasy, approaches the cave rumored to hold hidden treasures and dangers. The adventurers enter, shocked by the scene before them, realizing they're too late to stop it. Bound and helpless, the woman struggles as goblins continue their sinister acts, ignoring her cries for help. The group looks on, horrified and confused by the twisted scene unfolding before them in the cave. He recognizes the familiar faces of the missing townspeople, bound in ways beyond comprehension. Fury takes hold of the group. The adventurers determined saving the captives becomes their top priority. The giant goblin looms above, menacing, casting a dark shadow over the adventurers standing below. Surprised and horrified, the adventurers witness the scale of the goblin threat that awaits them. The entrance to the cave looms ominously, a reminder that the goblins have returned with force. New, more dangerous goblins emerge, now equipped with weaponry and intelligence to wreak havoc on Helterra. The goblins have evolved, tormenting captives with terrifying knowledge, their cruelty more calculated than before. In just 2 years, half of Helterra falls to the goblins, who now mock humanity's resistance. The goblins fortify their position, their stone fortress rising high in the mountains, an imposing sight. On the battlefield, goblins fire their siege weapons, bringing destruction and chaos to the city below. The human defenders brace for the worst as the goblins launch their deadly projectiles with a battle cry. Inside the city walls, the soldiers prepare to face the inevitable impact of the goblin siege. The walls shudder as the impact hits, knights desperately shielding themselves from the goblin barrage. Confusion spreads among the soldiers, something unnatural is being hurled at them. The mystery deepens. The force of the blast leaves one soldier dazed, stunned by the sheer power of the attack. As the fallen soldier stares into the sky, a grim realization sinks in: the battle is lost. The enemy revels in their cruelty, using the corpses of fallen scouts to provoke further terror. Goblin attack intensifies, but the soldiers' resolve strengthens as they face the oncoming threat. A commander recognizes the deadly precision of the goblins' artillery, fearing its potential to breach their defenses. On the front lines, soldiers brace themselves for the impact of the goblin weapons, anticipating destruction. The tension rises as the impact approaches, each soldier preparing for the inevitable clash of forces. Amidst the chaos, reinforcements arrive, bringing a glimmer of hope for the beleaguered defenders. Monica receives thanks for her arrival, but a soldier worries about Oasis's delay in joining them. Amidst the battlefield, Monica stands tall, radiating confidence as the goblins approach from behind her. In the nearby forest, someone calls for Violet, but she remains distracted by her surroundings. Violet, confused by the situation, wonders why the others are undressed, revealing a tense and chaotic environment. Trapped by the monstrous grip, Helena struggles as a chilling, slimy sensation crawls across her skin. Takemichi observes the unfolding chaos, his eyes widening as Helena reacts, her movement hindered by the creature. Recognizing the beast's form, Helena mutters in disbelief, understanding it to be a scavenger lurking nearby. The grotesque creature roars, its twisted limbs revealing the dark purpose behind its abductions and brutal acts. With a defiant expression, Helena channels her energy, striking back with a surge of overwhelming power. A surge of power erupts as Takemichi summons a magic circle, directing an intense assault at the beast. The beast retaliates with fury, its roar echoing through the air as Takemichi maintains his stance. Helena, determined, attempts to strike the monster, but her efforts fall short, frustration building inside her. The creature, not to be outdone, releases a terrifying barrage of spikes, intensifying the battle's stakes. Just in time, Takemichi intervenes, saving Helena from certain danger, his smirk revealing a calm confidence. Violet warns Takemichi, reminding him to stay alert, as threatening spikes surround them ominously in the distance. A confident Takemichi points to the ground, revealing a hidden threat, while Helena looks on skeptically. Helena, confused, is pulled aside by Takemichi, his tone commanding her attention as they discuss something serious. Violet, showing a playful side, asks Helena about lipstick, her innocent question concealing a deeper agenda. Helena, irritated, demands answers, realizing the conversation is just a diversion, as Takemichi smirks mischievously. Takemichi finally summons the mysterious entity, the creature remarking that it's the perfect size this time. The summoned creature reveals its deeper connection to the mutated goblin, hinting at valuable memories it holds. Takemichi, eager for answers, asks the creature to assist in uncovering the goblin's hidden past. With the creature's help, Takemichi prepares to delve into the goblin's memories, his resolve growing stronger. Immersed in the memories, Takemichi marvels at the vivid experiences unfolding as he explores the goblin's past. Takemichi watches in horror as the creature cruelly toys with the captured women in its lair. He senses the danger, realizing one woman still lives, her breath shallow but filled with fear. Spotting the sisters' presence in cages, Takamichi rushes to them, hoping they're still alive despite the torment. The memories unfold, revealing the horrifying moment of the goblin's mutation and a glimpse of its dark origins. Takamichi is determined now, vowing to empower his ally to stop this monstrous mutation once and for all. He finds the source of the disturbance, surrounded by goblins whose predatory gazes focus on him. Realizing the black-haired woman's involvement, Takamichi senses that she's the key to the goblin's newfound power. Stunned by the intense black magic around her, Takamichi contemplates her potential connection to hellish powers. Takamichi's expression shifts as he decides the limits of the goblin's memories, closing in on the truth. Returning to his ally, Takamichi reveals vital information, but the mastermind's identity remains a mystery. Takamichi decides to enter the dark cave alone, vowing to rescue the sisters from danger. With confidence, he declares his approach, ready to face monsters or women with equal determination. Violet, still unsure, expresses her readiness to help, but Takamichi reassures her with his power. Takamichi dives deep into the cave, warning Violet not to follow him any further for safety. Upon arrival, Takamichi finds the cave eerily empty, his presence seemingly ignored by its inhabitants. Takamichi notices a room filled with scattered cages, his eyes narrowing. As he walks, a woman dressed in black confronts him, demanding to know his identity. Shocked, both the man and woman discover the unexpected: she's human, just like him. Takamichi stares at Oasis-sama, the missing saintess. She confesses her abduction by a mysterious scavenger. Oasis-sama, hiding in fear, reveals her mistaken belief that Takamichi was a goblin at first. Apologetically, Oasis-sama regrets threatening the one who came to her rescue, feeling torn by guilt. Takamichi nervously checks for injuries, concerned for Oasis-sama's well-being, though his concern seems to amuse her. Amidst confusion, Takamichi realizes that his struggle has led to unexpected opportunities, wondering what comes next. Takamichi wipes his eyes, feeling overwhelmed, while Oasis-sama apologizes, pleading for a way to make amends. Oasis-sama offers an unusual form of apology, her words making Takamichi uncertain about her intentions. Takamichi's confused reaction shows his shock, as he struggles to process the offer before him. The explanation becomes clearer as Oasis-sama's words intensify, leaving Takamichi in even more disbelief. Takamichi, alarmed by the sudden change in behavior, wonders if this is a normal custom here. Oasis-sama questions whether it's appropriate for her to act this way towards someone she just met. She shyly wonders if Takamichi is even attracted to her, feeling vulnerable and unsure. Takamichi, confused but determined, asks for Oasis-sama's healing while trying to make sense of her behavior. Bound by ropes, Takamichi's confusion deepens as Oasis-sama explains the precautionary measure, unable to fully explain her actions. Takamichi's response grows more perplexed as Oasis-sama reassures him, hinting at control once that is revealed. He realized the danger, his guard down. The rope felt eerily familiar. Was it a trap? Oasis appeared confused, her attire disheveled. Takamichi tried to dismiss his unease with a forced smile. The tension thickened as Oasis muttered, complimenting his form. Takamichi, however, remained guarded. Oasis, a smile lingering, whispered words of thanks. Takamichi felt conflicted, unsure of her intentions. The moment grew intense as both reacted. A mix of emotions played across their expressions: pleasure, uncertainty. Oasis trembled with sensation, unable to comprehend the overwhelming feelings. Was this truly happening? Takamichi groaned, his body exhausted but still responsive. His thoughts raced, unsure of his next move. A surge of energy flooded through him, driven by Oasis's unexpected proficiency. What did this mean? He fought to control himself, feeling powerless against the intensity of their encounter. Was this real? Oasis smiled, her eyes glinting with satisfaction. Takamichi struggled, the situation far beyond his expectations. Oasis seemed uncertain, yet her body betrayed a desire she couldn't deny. Takamichi smirked, a teasing grin spread across her face. The cost of a saint's touch is high. Takamichi responded eagerly, determined. Oasis's words only added fuel to his growing anticipation. Their movements quickened, both giving in to the tension building between them. Was this the end? As their passion reached its peak, Oasis encouraged him, her expression a mix of satisfaction and command. Oasis gasped, the sensation overwhelming her. Takamichi could see the effect his presence had on her. Despite the intensity, Oasis tried to stay composed, but the pressure of their connection deepened. Takamichi, feeling the building energy, grasped the moment, determined to test his limits with her. Oasis's voice trembled, a mix of anticipation and command. Takemichi's resolve grew firmer with every word. As the tension reached its peak, Oasis reminded him of the consequences, her gaze piercing and firm. The battle intensifies as Takemichi fights off monstrous enemies with unmatched strength, shaking the environment around him. Amid the chaos, Oasis admires Takemichi's power. Sensing the rising tension in the air, they step into a mysterious underground realm, surprised by its vastness and the dark secrets it holds. Takemichi, after achieving his goal, reflects on his progress, noting his next challenge with a smirk. As they explore further, Oasis answers a question about a past encounter, a calm yet foreboding moment. Oasis describes a devil's presence with disgust, clearly haunted by his vile existence. Takemichi, with an uneasy glance, is confronted by Oasis's bold actions, a hint of tension. They arrive at the goblin base, a foreboding place where the air feels thick with danger. Trapped women face horrors within the prison, the goblins' menacing figures leaving a trail of fear. In a new twist, Commander Marco's outcry shows his internal struggle, but he's helpless against his fate. The woman, seemingly resigned, suggests enduring the situation, her expression a mix of acceptance and pain. Meanwhile, the soldiers around her seem tense, unsure about the grim situation unfolding before them. In a dark corner, a cry of regret escapes as a commander wrestles with his guilt. A loud noise echoes as the commander struggles internally, his hesitation marked by conflicting emotions. As the chaos intensifies, cries and roars fill the air, amplifying the bleakness of their predicament. A goblin challenges the humans, demanding more shocking acts, its unsettling gaze focused on them. The group faces a harsh ultimatum: show something extraordinary or face death, their fear palpable. The situation grows tense as the goblins lose patience, pushing the humans into a corner. A man desperately searches for an escape, his internal struggle evident as pressure mounts around him. The onlookers react with disgust, but one of them seems oddly intrigued by the twisted events unfolding. The goblin smiles, mocking the situation as the woman desperately tries to resist the discomfort. Frustrated, a man cries out, venting his anger as the painful ordeal continues around him. The goblin smirks, suggesting a new idea, eager to escalate the twisted situation further. In a moment of horror, the woman protests desperately, but the situation takes a darker turn. Suddenly, a new figure interrupts, challenging the goblin, their commanding presence demanding an end to the chaos. An unexpected strike shatters the tension, leaving the goblin stunned and the humans in shock. Chaos erupts as the goblin forces retreat, but the humans are left scrambling for safety. A massive enemy towers over the group, mocking them, just as a deadly threat looms. The goblin suffers a brutal blow, crashing to the ground as the situation intensifies. A team of skilled adventurers arrives, promising to end the conflict, bringing hope to the captives. A team of elite adventurers has been dispatched to rescue the sisters, ready for their mission. The war progresses. Witches are strategizing, while goblins are being defeated on the battlefield. Marta expresses concern, but Belial warns against complacency. Victory is still uncertain, and danger looms. Unusual events have unfolded over the years, hinting at a greater danger that may soon emerge. As the conference nears, Belial and Marta hurry back, sensing the growing urgency of the situation. The sky darkens as a storm approaches. A heavy downpour is expected in the area. The battlefield erupts with chaos as warriors clash, swords raised high in a fierce fight. Amid the battle, the archer remains focused, preparing for the next strike with precision. An intense barrage of arrows is launched, striking down foes in a deadly storm of projectiles. The archer remains resolute, watching the devastation, his expression one of determination amidst the chaos. The goblin is struck down, blood splattering. The battle intensifies as chaos erupts around him. With fury, she charges into battle, wielding her weapon with deadly precision against the goblins. Surprised by an unexpected turn, she prepares to adjust her strategy, hammer in hand. A large goblin recovers swiftly, preparing to strike back, causing concern for the battle's outcome. Irena helps the wounded, encouraging focus on the battle ahead as others prepare to rejoin. The group stares in awe, facing a towering enemy. Its size is overwhelming. Realizing the situation, they identify the formidable Goblin King, stronger than anything they've encountered. With Herculean strength and an ability to recover instantly, the Goblin King proves nearly unstoppable. Confident in their skills, they prepare for the fight ahead, certain they can win this battle. Without hesitation, the operation commences. Sumi takes charge, charging into the battle with fierce resolve. The Goblin King swings his massive weapon at Sumi. She confidently avoids his attack. Powerful strikes create shockwaves as the Goblin King retaliates, but Sumi remains determined to fight. Sumi narrowly dodges, feeling the impact of the shockwave. She knows one more hit could be fatal. Irena's magic seals the Goblin King. With chains binding him, he is temporarily immobilized. He unleashes a powerful lightning-charged arrow, striking the Goblin King and breaking through his defenses. Amos prepares for the fight, recognizing the Goblin King's great strength and speed despite its size. With power surging, Amos unleashes a mighty blow, amplified by the Wolf King's blessing. The Goblin King struggles, but with a roar, it retaliates with a forceful strike. The attack's shockwave sends Sumi flying, but she remains focused, determined not to give in. Irena's magic ensnares the Goblin King, and they finally strike its hidden weakness, aiming for the heart. A plan to defeat the Goblin King is set. Melody is ready to enhance arrows. Amos explains the weakness of the Goblin King. Melody confidently states victory is near. The talking goblin from earlier appears. A new challenge has arrived for the group. The battle intensifies as Melody prepares to strike. The goblin is resilient despite the attack. Shock fills the air as Melody's powerful strike lands. The goblin's body reacts to the blow. The captor confronts the hero-class prisoner with a threatening promise, escalating the danger and tension. A new hero class emerges, breaking through the limits of elite rank, promising unmatched power and danger. Elite classes differ by rank, but even middle-ranked elites can defeat common classes with strategy. In a desperate situation, the team realizes that only a hero class can match their foe's strength. Sumi's urgent command echoes as the team runs, knowing the stakes have become too dangerous to ignore. A menacing figure demands to be entertained, threatening those who defy with sinister intentions and chaos. Sumi realizes the gruesome truth corpses are grotesquely fused with the enemy, a disturbing sight. Amos contemplates a dangerous medicine, as Irena warns him of the devastating side effects it causes. A powerful strike shatters the surroundings, Amos's strength surging as he faces the overwhelming opponent. In a desperate cry, Amos unleashes his fury, determined to rescue Sumi from her captor. The enemy is impressed by the raw power displayed, their confidence wavering as tension builds. Amos realizes his enhanced attack was halted by a monstrous force, caught by a deadly grip. Surprise fills the air as the loss of a legendary SS-rank adventurer is revealed, shocking Amos. Amos struggles to break free, fury burning in his eyes as he calls for Tsumi's help. A calm voice warns of an unseen threat. The last foe standing danger still looms in the shadows. Irena realizes the truth. What seemed like a lie is now an undeniable and dangerous threat. A toxic neurotoxin spreads through her, paralyzing her body as she struggles to maintain control. Despite her anti-poison blessing, Irena is overwhelmed, her body freezing, and the danger closes in. The enemy taunts her, while she fights to hold on, her strength fading as they close in. Surrounded by enemies, Irena's resolve begins to falter, but her will to resist remains unbroken. Amos defiantly declares that even death won't stop the fight. The enemy's victory is far from assured. The enemy mocks Amos, revealing that a powerful hero-class sister could turn the tide. They prepares a devastating move, summoning an enormous force to overpower the heroes and claim victory. Amos struggles, but the looming threat of the giant figure demands a desperate response for survival. The towering giant approaches, Amos trembling, as the overwhelming force of the enemy's final move descends. Amos realizes the overwhelming invasion force. Despite their strength, he remains resolute that victory is possible. The enemy leader, grinning, taunts about the fortress, revealing their plan to invade the kingdom itself. A powerful hand emerges, signaling the start of an unimaginable attack that will change everything. The invaders' power overwhelms Amos, as the massive force looms, threatening the safety of all. In the face of certain doom, an unwavering soldier stands, prepared for whatever comes next. The battle takes a dark turn as the characters struggle in desperation, calling for help. In the midst of chaos, both Sumi and Amos cry out, hoping for a savior. Lami enjoyed her meal quietly, unaware that an ominous change was approaching the peaceful house. Suddenly, darkness fell inside as the caretaker hurried to gather the sheets before the storm arrived. A massive shadow loomed outside the window, causing Lami's heart to race with growing fear. Tears welled up as both girls realized danger was near, their hopes fading in silence. Giant figures wrecked through the village, shattering the tranquility and marking a brutal new invasion. Goblin troops surged forward, weapons raised, their furious charge signaling the start of a brutal attack. The town before the fort braced under heavy rain, shadows looming over shattered homes and streets. Villagers and soldiers struggled helplessly as chaos erupted, the invaders overpowering defenses without mercy. A desperate woman pleaded fiercely, embracing her daughter, begging for mercy amid the surrounding darkness. Despite her warnings, goblins advanced relentlessly, closing in around the frightened child, sealing their tragic fate. Matsumoto and Resent fought fiercely, clearing goblins while urging survivors to flee toward the fort. Rain battered the gate as desperate townsfolk pleaded to be let inside, safety just beyond reach. Voices called out urgently. Terrified citizens begged for shelter. With goblins closing in dangerously fast, a noble refused entry, fearing risk, placing his own life above the crowd's desperate pleas. Suddenly, a ranged attack interrupted. Chaos erupted again as the defenders faced threats from behind. Resent and Matsumoto winced after the unexpected blow. Surprised by the sudden, strange attack, Doris, a powerful warrior, lay fallen. Her loss struck the defenders with deep sorrow and shock. The Goblin King appeared, commanding menace and strength, raising fear among all who faced him. Commanders urgently prepared defenses. Reinforcements were critical as chaos erupted and enemies advanced relentlessly. Amid falling debris, the cowardly noble chose escape over battle, abandoning the fort and its people. Shock filled the defenders as the Goblin King wielded a massive axe, threatening the fort's wall. Despite their efforts, soldiers watched helplessly, while the giant enemy clawed its way inside relentlessly. Fort walls crumbled under the immense force. Despair grew as hope slipped further away from all. Resent led survivors, urging urgent escape, vowing to fight and protect them from the growing threat. The colossal form advanced. The Goblin King's shadow loomed over the ruined fort, signaling doom's arrival. The captors mocked Irena's battered state, while Sumi and others watched helplessly, trapped and weakened. Irena remained silent despite her captor's cruel words, hiding pain beneath forced calm and despair. Threats targeted both Irena and Sumi, demanding submission as the captors prepared further torment. Sumi fought back with fierce resolve, refusing to break even while Irena endured silently, forcing Irena and Sumi to watch each other's suffering. Oppressors aimed to crush their spirits. The captor revealed a device to control bodies, sparking fear and confusion within Sumi immediately. Sumi listened as the captor explained the painful process intended to force her submission gradually. Refusal turned to terror. The captor ignored protests, revealing the cruel reality awaiting Sumi. Meanwhile, the captors gathered their prisoners, dragging Irena and Sumi further into a dark plan. Suddenly, Sumi resisted fiercely, surprising her captors and attempting to escape the tightening grip. Suddenly, a new figure appeared, offering unexpected help and promising their own mysterious allegiance. He introduced himself confidently, revealing ties to a powerful figure named Violet Sama, changing the captor's game. A giant armored warrior radiated with thunderous power, surprising everyone in the midst of danger. Melody, a skilled witch and hero-class fighter, appeared to oversee the battle, ready to intervene. Witnesses marveled as Melody swiftly defeated a powerful enemy, reassuring people of their safety. Hovering above captive monsters, Melody warned them with calm menace, promising punishment for their actions. Back at the captive's location, the oppressors pressed their attack, while the prisoners struggled to endure. Takemichi confronted the confused captor, demanding answers about Violet, intensifying unease amid the captive's plight. With swift determination, Takemichi advanced toward the captors, silently warning them to back off immediately. Melody cautioned Takemichi about their opponent's strength, hinting that his challenge would require more than force. The battle intensified when Takemichi seized control, applying overwhelming pressure on the aggressors, turning the tide. Captives exchanged shocked glances, stunned by Takemichi's confidence and the sheer dominance he displayed calmly. Amid chaos, Takemichi fiercely defended captives, yelling at allies to avoid reckless mistakes immediately. Alerted by allies, Takemichi's attention shifted sharply. He prepared for the enemy's unpredictable strike. A sudden, shocking attack caught Takemichi off guard, leaving his expression stunned and breathless. Despite the surprise, Takemichi quickly retaliated, using a bold move to counter his adversary's offense. Meanwhile, captives expressed horror at the captor's cruelty, emphasizing the grim stakes of their predicament. Takemichi's curiosity grew as Irena teased him, her words shifting from playful to serious. His words stirred a dark tension. She responded with unexpected courage, showing no fear. Goblins, typically vile, spoke of their needs, and a fragile alliance seemed within reach. Takemichi, unfazed, challenged the goblin leader, his words sharp with disdain. He refused to engage. In a heated moment, pleasure and temptation intertwined, and Takemichi's resolve began to waver. A lady's confident expression filled the room, as an unexpected kiss lingered in the air. Irena's actions seemed calculated, the tension thick as she apologized, clearly relishing the situation. Takemichi couldn't help but comment, dismissing their morals with a cruel understanding of human desires. The goblin leader sneered, unaware of the tension mounting, as the group remained silent in shock. A twisted promise was made as Takemichi, unfazed, prepared to show them a darker side. Tension grew as something unnatural began to happen, drawing shocked reactions from the onlookers. The goblin leader raised a device, promising a final act that would change everything in the room. A sense of horror spread through the characters as they realized the cruel intentions unfolding. She eyes widened with fear, but the situation escalated as they saw something terrifying happen. Despite the pleas, the battle continued, with one trying to save their comrade while another defied them. Takemichi's glare met the goblin leader's smug expression, the air crackling with rising anger. The goblin mocked, revealing the dark consequences of his actions, twisting the situation to his advantage. Despite the threat, Takemichi remained calm, a chilling smirk spreading across his face in response. A surge of power washed over him, his confident declaration cutting through the tension as he prepared. The creature's eyes widen in panic as it screams for the relentless force to stop. Desperation fills the air as the figure's grip tightens, demanding obedience from those around it. A menacing figure emerges, confident that its modifications should paralyze anyone opposing its command. A dark smile forms as the opposition realizes the unnatural power exerted, suspecting a hidden influence at play. Frustration consumes the figure as it realizes its control slips, the situation taking an unexpected turn. Takemichi smirks, revealing his control over the situation, while the others react with discomfort. Two figures stand concerned as they discuss the safety of the girls involved, unsure of everything. In the distance, someone observes, recognizing the unusual power at play, the situation spiraling out of control. Takemichi strikes with intensity, aiming a powerful blow, determined to end the confrontation swiftly. The final blow is dealt, sending the opponent reeling backward. As the air thickens with tension, Takemichi confidently taunts, his punch landing with force, while his allies marvel at the effortless power. A mysterious figure steps forward, glaring with intense rage, vowing to exact revenge on Takemichi. The creature roars in fury, its monstrous form unveiling as it prepares for the ultimate confrontation. Takemichi strikes, the impact shattering the foe's defenses, causing them to stagger in disbelief. As Takemichi observes the creature's defeat, he notices its final form. A new threat looms ahead. A group of goblins appears ready to fight, but the real target is still ahead. As the goblins struggle, a dark force begins pulling them together, creating something far worse. The horrifying transformation is complete, and the creature's new form exudes an overwhelming presence. With terrifying power, the newly formed monster roars, challenging Takemichi to confront it head-on. Takemichi, sensing the magnitude of the threat, stands firm, as the tension in the air builds. With a dramatic gesture, the man points toward the horizon, claiming he sees something irresistible approaching. The Goblin King reacts in confusion, as the scene unfolds with a surprising twist of events. The unexpected happens when the figure launches an intense attack, knocking the goblin away with power. Despite the setback, the fight continues, as the protagonist boldly proclaims the situation doesn't matter. Rocks and debris scatter everywhere as the battle intensifies, with weapons now piercing the environment. With a dramatic gesture, the man points toward the horizon, claiming he sees something irresistible approaching. The Goblin King reacts in confusion, as the scene unfolds with a surprising twist of events. The unexpected happens when the figure launches an intense attack, knocking the goblin away with power. Despite the setback, the fight continues, as the protagonist boldly proclaims the situation doesn't matter. Rocks and debris scatter everywhere as the battle intensifies, with weapons now piercing the environment. The towering beast sneers, its immense form casting a shadow over the fragile figures below. A chilling declaration fills the air as the monster revels in the hero's shattered hopes. With cruel certainty, the creature details its horrific plans, intending to break their spirits and will. Despite the overwhelming threat, one hero's resolve remains unbroken, showing resilience even in dire circumstances. Trapped under the immense weight, the hero struggles, yet their unwavering spirit ignites a chance to escape. The monstrous figure, eyes wide in shock, realizes the true power rising before him. Calmly, Takemichi declares their intent, preparing to unleash the full force of their power. Takemichi leaps into action, narrowly avoiding the massive foot crashing down, causing destruction around him. The beast sneers, bragging about its ability to withstand Takamichi's attacks, underestimating his resilience. A formidable new threat emerges, eyes burning with power as it challenges Takamichi's defiance. Takamichi boldly mocks the beast, doubting its power, his unwavering confidence fueling the tension between them. A powerful strike from the summoned entity lands, rattling the enemy and shifting the momentum in Takamichi's favor. Takamichi's powerful strike causes the ground to shatter, as his attack lands with intense force. The monster, stunned, feels the seal on its regeneration break, realizing Takamichi's strike has pierced its defenses. Struggling to recover, the creature expresses frustration as it faces Takamichi's relentless challenge. With a mocking grin, Takamichi responds coolly, remarking on the creature's struggle to endure his power. The enemy's rage builds as it lunges forward, determined to retaliate, but Takamichi stands firm. The creature is overwhelmed by pain, its anguished cries filling the air as it trembles. A new figure steps forward, eyes burning with fury, ready to face the monstrous foe. Lying defeated, the creature struggles, its fate uncertain as its enemies retreat from the scene. With a grim expression, the warrior turns, leaving the creature to suffer the consequences of its actions. In the shadows, an enigmatic figure watches, a cruel smile forming as the chaos unfolds. The figure leans over, taunting the creature, offering it a final chance before its demise. A mocking remark follows as the creature, weak and battered, still shows signs of desire despite its fate. In an unexpected twist, the figure promises power, offering the creature an alternative path through pain. The figure, smiling darkly, encourages the creature to embrace this new form of existence and power. An invitation to a new world arrives, where dreams can come true, but with unknown consequences. Takamichi leans in close, offering a twisted choice, knowing that his power is near. A sardonic remark escapes, as the creature's lingering desires are mocked, even in its suffering. Takamichi continues his manipulative words, promising the creature a strange form of power in return. The creature struggles, trying to make sense of the painful offer, but it's too late. As Takamichi watches, the creature's mind begins to break, overwhelmed by the forbidden power. Takamichi hears a dark voice explaining his body is a vessel of thousands of goblins. Visions of overwhelming and chaotic desires flood Takamichi's mind, causing confusion and growing inner turmoil. A monstrous goblin leader declares his plan to control all the women in Helterra. The goblins panic when their plan unexpectedly fails, begging for mercy though none is granted. With swift strength, Takamichi crushes his enemies, ending their threat and regaining control of himself. The intense mental assault tried to shatter Takamichi's mind, but his will remained firmly unbroken. Despite the chaos, Takamichi compares lust to nourishment, claiming it barely affects him personally. Two figures observe from afar, discussing his strength and planning to eliminate him regardless. One determined woman steps forward confidently, declaring she will confront Takamichi herself without hesitation. Two warriors discuss a mysterious figure's hero status after witnessing his protective actions in battle. Amid ruined land, survivors urgently search for any living souls, calling out for immediate aid. In a quiet corner, injured individuals receive care, recovering from the chaos of the recent fight. A healer struggles to mend severe wounds caused by a dark magical fusion with a goblin. One woman asks others not to waste their healing on her, her spirit already broken. Maya-senpai's bodyguard presence gives some hope, but Irena watches anxiously over the wounded survivors nearby. A desperate man pleads for healing, revealing his deep fear for his daughter's safety. Irena worries about her limited powers amidst many injured, feeling the weight of responsibility growing. Takamichi plays with Maya and Sumi teasingly, suggesting boosting their strength amid the tension. Sumi quickly denies Takamichi's suggestion, stressing their relationship as mere childhood friends, causing surprise around. Sumi pleads desperately for Maya to stop Takamichi's teasing, fearing trouble might escalate quickly. Irena asks Takamichi seriously what she must do to grow stronger for the battles ahead. Despite protests, Takamichi bluntly states his intentions, causing shock and disbelief among the group. Maya quickly takes control of the situation, leading Sumi and Irena away toward a more private spot. In the quiet ruins, Takamichi and Irena confront their feelings, seeking strength and comfort together. Takamichi asks Irena why she trusted his words, recalling her bravery saving Helena's life. Despite her trauma, Irena's spirit hasn't broken, showing resilience after enduring the goblin's attacks. She explains the importance of healers, who protect others by staying strong until the battle ends. Warriors and mages fight without fear because healers ensure survival and continued support for their allies. With gentle encouragement, Takamichi comforts Irena, promising her strength and growth beyond her current limits. Takamichi reminds Irena to pace herself, advising breaks to avoid exhausting her limited energy reserves. Despite tiredness, Irena vows to keep fighting, determined to support her comrades throughout the growing struggle. Suddenly, Irena emits powerful magic energy, surprising everyone with her unexpected healing capability and strength. Injured warriors joyfully feel rapid recovery. The once desperate mood brightens with renewed hope and vitality. Irena reveals her new elite status, ready to protect and heal her allies through relentless dedication. Irena insists on pacing herself, while Takamichi encourages breaks to maintain strength and stamina. Takamichi's support motivates Irena as she continues, determined not to let exhaustion stop her. Magic pulses through Irena, revitalizing her. Unexpected power surprises everyone in the midst of battle. As warriors recover quickly, hope rekindles among the group, strengthening their resolve to fight onward. Sumi joins, expressing her desire to grow stronger to protect friends and face coming challenges. Takamichi's casual remark about strength surprises the group, his words carrying unexpected weight and consequences. The group's attention sharpens as Takamichi limits his actions, one attempt per woman to gain power. Several allies respond with determination, embracing Takamichi's plan to grow stronger for the battles ahead. Newcomers observe as the battle ends, questioning if the chaotic event has finally reached closure. Takamichi explains the goblin leader's downfall, revealing manipulation and warning of lingering threats among others. Takamichi is startled as Violet unexpectedly arrives, demanding answers and confronting the strange and tense situation. She, bruised and determined, reveals critical information about concerned alliances, deepening the unfolding conflict ahead. Takamichi confronts the damage left behind, recognizing the sacrifice that allowed the Devil Eye to flee. A defeated Helena struggles beneath an enemy's foot, helpless as the town's massacre continues without pause. Helena denies heroism, claiming disgust for the violence and those attempting to protect the innocent. Romeo, the goblin boss, reveals himself in a surprisingly formal outfit, mocking his victim's pain. In contrast to a ruthless rival, Romeo admits his desire for love, dressing well to find it. Violet unexpectedly appears, surprising Takamichi as she questions his presence and intentions in the ruined town. Helena, injured and defiant, mentions allies Heltera, signaling a deeper alliance in the ongoing conflict. Romeo's disturbing proposal meets rejection, his twisted affection contrasted by Helena's cold and determined refusal. An intense confrontation erupts as Helena demands loyalty, preparing to strike down the sinister goblin boss. Despite pleas, Helena's resolve sharpens. She commits to ending the threat, undeterred by fear. Helena, lost in a moment of intense emotion, feels an overwhelming sense of pleasure, unable to stop. Romeo grins, feeling the strange sensation of love from Helena, as he wonders about others' reactions. Destruction marks the landscape in front of Heltera's first fort, where battle and chaos have left their mark. A woman, fierce and determined, channels a powerful spell, her eyes glowing with intense focus and power. As the energy surges, the recipient of her magic cannot contain his excitement, unleashing his emotions in a loud roar. Melody, the Great Witch, feels frustration as her powerful lightning spell fails to take effect. A goblin, Void, introduces himself boldly, declaring his intention to challenge the human forces ahead. Void assures them of his allegiance, explaining his lifelong identity as a goblin, not human. With a grin, Void reveals his deep understanding of human nature, particularly their desires and morals. As the tension builds, he sets his sights on Melody, eager to claim a powerful woman. Melody examines the ring with distaste, commenting on its poor design as she manipulates it. Void, recognizing the ring as a space magic item, declares his understanding, revealing his connection to it. As Void vanishes, Melody reacts with confusion, realizing her spell didn't affect him, her leg disappearing. Melody is shocked and horrified to discover her leg inside the magical space Void controls. Void grins mischievously, commenting on his fascination with Melody's beauty, warning her not to resist him. The South Great Forest of Heltera stands silent and ominous, its trees stripped of life. Anis, a skilled adventurer, pleads desperately for her life, offering anything to avoid death. Her cries echo as she struggles, begging for mercy, but her captor's grip tightens mercilessly. In a swift motion, her captor dismembers her, the sound of breaking limbs filling the air. 13, a goblin boss, stands proudly with his deadly sword, his grin a sign of impending chaos. The search for the woman continues, but it seems the enemy is more interested in bloodshed. Angelina and Monica argue, both concerned about the remaining allies, but their situation feels hopeless. They discuss finding a nearby magic circle, a possible key to turning the tide. The two women, joined by their comrades, spot an unfamiliar fort in the distance. Reaching the fort, they demand entry, but their request is met with silence and no response. Angelina, realizing their limited resources, suggests a potential solution, though they lack magic materials for now. The group entered Takamichi Castle, greeted by the friendly guide who offered healing medicines. Outside, the town buzzed with life, the marketplace bustling with activity and buildings towering above. Vendors sold food while children played games in the streets, their laughter filling the air. A concerned man warned about a powerful monster nearby, but the civilians remained calm and peaceful. Children excitedly invited a newcomer to play soccer, curious about the strange ball in their hands. The healer's skills impressed everyone as she saved Jack, using just medicine without any magic. The commander marveled at the high-quality potion, wondering where it had come from, questioning its origin. The group was left curious about the mysterious girl as they observed her from a distance. A sudden panic arose when Lady Monica collapsed, and the situation took a desperate turn. Despite her regenerative powers, the demonic toxins in Lady Monica's wounds made healing impossible without removing them. The situation grew tense as the poison in the goblin's weapon was revealed, originating from Agor. Aura, with a confident smile, announced she would try a risky method to save the victim. The others were horrified as the healer began attempting to extract the poison, disregarding warnings. As the poison was absorbed, the healer remained unfazed, revealing her immunity to Agor's toxin. Once the poison was removed, the healer explained how the Lord's presence would have been helpful. Angelina felt frustrated by the mysterious hero's power, not understanding how the young pharmacist was so skilled. A loud warning from a soldier informed them that a dangerous monster was headed towards the castle. From a distance, the monstrous figure appeared, towering over the landscape and casting a looming shadow. The villain's sinister grin revealed his delight in causing chaos as the giant monster approached. As the monster drew closer, the heroes prepared, with one determined to hold it off. The two women debated, with one asking for help from the castle lord due to the enemy's strength. Curious, the young woman inquired if Angelina had ever used a vib, leaving her puzzled. Suddenly, destruction struck as the ground cracked open, signaling the arrival of a powerful foe. The enemy's form loomed menacingly, their towering figure dwarfing everything in sight as it marched. In response to the threat, the sorceress unleashed an explosive attack, charging with a devastating spell. The villain prepares his weapon, summoning the void ring with a sinister grin, ready for destruction. With excitement, he harnesses the power, unleashing a blinding burst of lightning from the void ring. The attack races toward its target, a powerful retaliation, with the witch prepared to counter. In a swift motion, the witch retaliates, hurling the energy back with tremendous force. The trickster laughs, revealing his plan to outsmart the witch, but the danger isn't over. The twisted figure grinned widely, her excitement overwhelming as she broke free from the constraints. Admiring the view, a sense of desire grew, almost uncontrollable, as the situation intensified. Tension lingered. Her resistance was clear, but he persisted, leaning in closer, unable to ignore the overwhelming temptation. The air grew heavier as both sides grappled with their emotions, the situation becoming increasingly uncertain. The map lay sprawled out before them, revealing an unsettling journey ahead, fraught with unknown challenges. Aura's thoughts raced as she overheard the strange conversation, suspecting there was something more beneath the surface. Confusion lingered in the air as the two women approached a door, one seemingly unaware of the tension. The sight before them was truly unexpected, and Aura's voice broke the silence in shock and awe. A dark realization hit as they discovered the mechanism behind the device, and questions began to arise. With a mischievous smirk, Angelina teased Aura, pushing the situation into an uncomfortable yet playful confrontation. Aura hesitated, aware of her limitations, but her determination shone through despite her doubts. Linda and Renka exchanged glances, agreeing to temporarily borrow strength from each other for their mission. The sight before them was overwhelming, and Aura's surprise was visible as she voiced her disbelief. With a sharp realization, Aura's worry grew as she saw a threat already approaching their position. As tension mounted, Aura stepped forward, her resolve firm, urging the others to retreat for safety. The giant monster loomed over the soldiers, its sinister grin sending waves of fear through them. A powerful arcane beam struck, hitting the monster's face and momentarily slowing its rampage. Aura strategized, realizing her magic was drained while the enemy stood unfazed, ready to counterattack. The colossal beast unsheathed its massive sword, preparing for a devastating strike against the approaching forces. Monster's deadly blow hurtled toward them, and Aura's desperation grew as she saw no escape. The monstrous force tore through the fortress, leaving devastation in its wake, shaking the soldiers. Shock spread across the battlefield as the monster's face contorted in rage after the attack. Aura realized her magic was still depleted, and the powerful enemy stood strong, unscathed. A magical barrier appeared, trapping the monster in place, its power clearly meant for higher-level foes. Tension rose as an urgent call for protection was made, with hopes resting on distant forces. Aura recognized the dark magic surrounding the monster, fearing it would unleash devastating power again. The monster swung its mighty blade, sending shockwaves that shattered the surroundings in an instant. Panic spread as the magic from the device intensified, leaving the team struggling to keep control. Cracks appeared in the barrier, signaling its imminent collapse as pressure mounted on their defenses. Aura observed from above, her thoughts distracted by a distant figure, signaling a shift in focus. Angelina feels overwhelmed, frustrated by the constant duties she faces, protecting Monica and finding her brother weigh on her. After escaping her burdens, Aura reflects on the troubles she left behind. Freedom feels distant. Linda, unconscious, is left in an awkward situation. Ranka tries to maintain composure, but things worsen. Angelina, with fiery determination, speaks of her strength, ready to face any challenge head-on. Returning unexpectedly, Angelina reconsiders her reliance on a device. The tension between them rises. Angelina prepares for the next challenge, a device already positioned. Her confidence is evident. The device begins its operation. Tension mounts as the pressure increases, causing unexpected reactions. Angelina panics as the device intensifies. She feels overwhelmed by the unrelenting force, powerless to stop it. The soldiers notice the crack in the barrier repairing itself, sparking a sense of relief. A powerful figure appears, signaling a shift in events. The citizens must quickly evacuate. Struggling against overwhelming forces, Angelina fights the machine, which pushes her to her limits. As the device operates unpredictably, confusion mounts, and the situation grows increasingly out of control. With the monster's arrival, the soldiers' attacks prove useless. They realize the situation is dire. The goblin relentlessly continues attacking, its strength increasing. Soldiers brace for the imminent destruction. In the distance, explosions rock the city. The intensity of the goblin's power is undeniable. From the castle, the view reveals a grim reality. Their confinement feels like a cage. With determination, one soldier speaks of the plan to defeat the unyielding goblin menace. Tension heightens as a bold question arises, challenging their strength. The response is resolute and defiant. As the barrier fades away, a sense of urgency fills the air. The mission begins. Suddenly, an explosive burst shakes the surroundings, debris scattering through the air in chaos. Amidst the confusion, a warrior carries an injured comrade, his expression darkening with dread. A massive figure emerges, looming over the village, its terrifying grin signaling impending danger. A group of archers readies their weapons, determined to face the monstrous threat head-on. Desperation grows as the group realizes their attacks can't even gain the giant's attention. In a quiet room, a mother comforts her child, promising protection amidst the growing chaos. The monstrous figure looms closer, its menacing grin sending waves of fear through the crowd. Panic spreads as destruction looms, the giant's approach causing buildings to collapse violently. A calm figure challenges the beast, confident in her unique power as a weapon of defense. A leader urges her archers on, determined to keep firing despite the monstrous threat approaching. Tension mounts as the giant's fury grows, shaking the ground with each powerful roar. The threat grows imminent, and the giant's towering figure is seen charging toward them. A call for help echoes as the giant moves forward, ready to strike with terrifying force. Amidst the chaos, Aura and Angelina rush to act, hoping to save their allies in time. Aura urges the group to hold on a little longer, despite the giant closing in fast. The moment is critical, as the giant's foot hovers over their defensive barrier, inching closer. Aura watches, tense, as she activates the next move, pushing the barrier to its limit. The pressure is unbearable, but Aura maintains composure, aware of the risks involved. The risk grows as the barrier might shatter under the weight of the intense magic. The giant's roar echoes, its fury escalating as it prepares to strike with terrifying power. Tension builds as the final move is made, and the group rushes to finish their task. Desperation fills the air as a character begs for quick action, realizing the stakes are high. A loud cry pierces the silence, signaling the end of their struggle. Though danger remains, their victory is bittersweet, knowing that the battle is not over and more challenges await. Monster struggles as immense pain racks his body. His armor cracks under the force of something powerful. Aura watches from a distance, noting the struggle. She observes Takamichi, realizing the situation is worsening. Meanwhile, Angelina lies defeated, frustration and anger bubbling beneath her breath. She seeks revenge on the Lord. Discovering a hidden cave beneath the castle, Angelina feels relief, realizing she might find a way out. Takamichi, now surrounded by others, finds himself observing the situation as the tension between them grows. He and others stand watching as Angelina's sudden expression shifts, indicating her surprise and confusion. Amos, a knight, asks about his sister, curiosity clear among the group gathered in the cave. With pride, Amos smiles, describing his sister as brave, strong, and someone he deeply admires. The situation grows more awkward as a strange machine activates, its presence causing discomfort in the room. Angelina protests, trying to explain the situation, but her words only intensify the misunderstanding. Tension rises as others enter the scene, questioning the unexpected turn of events, catching everyone off guard. Takamichi smirks, enjoying the situation while Aura reacts with frustration. Attempting to stop the playful scene, Angelina, enraged by Takamichi's actions, screams out, calling him a pervert while trying to control her anger. Aura, still angry, confronts Takamichi, who greets her casually, suggesting a long-overdue reunion. The moment takes a sharp turn as Aura delivers a powerful punch, knocking Takamichi to the ground. With determination, Aura rallies her group, ready to enforce justice. As everyone looks on in awe, the group rejoices, offering support as Oasis-sama expresses gratitude for their kind efforts, showing appreciation. As Takamichi and Aura converse, he praises her strength, acknowledging the heroic feat accomplished in her absence. The conversation shifts, with time passing, and the group discusses the change in Helena's situation. Returning home, Takamichi is welcomed warmly by Amira, who excitedly offers to cook for everyone. The group celebrates, cheering with raised mugs, ready for their next challenge in goblin hunting. The group cheers, excited as they celebrate their victories. Laughter fills the room, creating tension. Violet, still recovering, expresses gratitude to Takamichi. His unexpected actions seem to have worked wonders. Amira, concerned, asks about Violet's arm, while the others watch, trying to piece things together. Tension builds as Violet resists showing her arm. Concerns grow over the side effects of Takamichi's methods. Everyone is left puzzled, watching Violet and Takamichi. The group wonders how far his influence reaches. Ange and Monica express their discomfort, refusing food from the others, hesitant to partake in the feast. The healer suggests they eat, reminding everyone to follow basic self-care, while others share concerns. Violet, while reluctantly tasting the food, admits its surprising deliciousness, despite her earlier objections. As Oasis-sama continues joking about her abilities, others grow concerned, questioning her behavior and intent. A more serious moment follows, with talk of sin and urges, leading to shock among the group. Takamichi is caught off guard by Oasis's teasing words, her proximity stirring an uncertain tension. As Oasis drunkenly behaves, the others worry about the potential trouble she could bring upon them. Aura, feeling the weight of Takamichi's presence, confronts him about his absence during a perilous mission. Takamichi reassures Aura about his protective role, though a hint of tension lingers between them. Aura questions his interest in her, knowing the others have caught his attention. Doubts cloud the air. Takamichi and Aura share a quiet, intense moment, the room filled with unspoken anticipation. As the tension builds, a voice from outside interrupts, unaware of what's unfolding in the room. A newcomer, Violet, hesitates outside, her impatience showing as she prepares to enter. Violet and Aura exchange glances, united by a common goal to challenge Takamichi's arrogance. With a mischievous grin, Takamichi relishes the growing heat, oblivious to the brewing conflict around him. The atmosphere is charged as Aura and Violet share an intimate moment, exchanging knowing glances. Takamichi feels overwhelmed as the situation escalates, unable to fully grasp the unexpected turn of events. Aura and Violet grow increasingly entwined, the intensity between them building, yet they keep their composure. A playful dynamic develops, with each character trying to maintain control in the charged atmosphere. The group begins to feel the pressure, though none are willing to back down from the situation. With a sudden change in energy, Violet and Aura's relationship takes a new turn, intensifying further. Takemichi feels an unexpected rush as the situation spirals, the tension thickening in the room. Aura and Violet, caught up in the growing intensity, are unsure of the boundaries being crossed. As the pressure builds, Takemichi struggles to maintain control, his thoughts muddled by the escalating tension. Despite the discomfort, the characters continue to push their limits, uncertainty clouding the air around them. In the end, both Violet and Aura seem overwhelmed. As their emotions clash with the reality unfolding, Takemichi and Violet lay close, their bodies entangled, the atmosphere thick with unspoken tension. As Aura hesitated, her words faltered, warning Takemichi not to let things go too far. Violet, however, seemed eager to push limits. In the hallway, the silence was interrupted by soft footsteps. They stood before Oasis's room, uncertain about what would unfold next. Oasis stirred awake, her gaze sharp. A smirk crossed her lips as she acknowledged their secretive behavior. With a commanding presence, Oasis gestured for the two men to approach. Her calmness masked her true intentions. Tension surged in the air as Oasis's voice echoed, urging the men to fight for her. With every touch, the intensity grew. Oasis's body was held firmly, sending ripples of excitement. She teased, asking about their pleasure. Their words revealed a growing, uncontrollable desire for her. As she confidently took charge, the atmosphere thickened, leaving no doubt of her control over them. Afterward, the men exchanged pleased remarks, leaving the room, their satisfaction clear despite their exhaustion. A swift and powerful strike severed the man's head, leaving a trail of dark blood. Chaos ensued as a new figure entered, promising sacrifice and invoking a grim ritual for the angel. The ritual began, bodies scattered in a disturbing display, marking the twisted ceremony's climax. As the ritual continued, one questioned whether their actions truly reached the divine angel's presence. Doubt lingered as another wondered if the angel's descent was delayed. Despite the ritual's intensity, Oasis, surrounded by goblins, remained determined. She believed this would bring the angel's descent. The scene shifted to a cave, revealing a dark and eerie atmosphere, thick with tension. As a new arrival surveyed the aftermath, they questioned the strength of the recent enemies. Suddenly, a cloaked figure emerged, claiming it was their mother. The others knelt in awe. The sinister figure confirmed their words, leaving the goblin uncertain. A dark realization set in. The grotesque form pulsated, revealing a monstrous alien entity. It would bring forth a new power. With the child's arrival, the world would be forever changed. Humans would be subjugated, dominated. As the birth approached, the surrounding goblins watched with anticipation. A dark future loomed ahead. A sudden shift occurred, the birth accelerated, its transformation already in motion, sealing the world's fate. Amidst the ruins, children played with a soccer ball, the distant walls looming over them. Amira kicked the ball off course, her friend called for her to redirect it back. A sudden interruption, the soccer ball, a gift from her brother, was about to be destroyed. A nobleman appeared, addressing the child with authority, questioning their behavior in the noble's presence. Tension escalated as the noble's soldiers handled the boy roughly, demanding obedience and respect. Tensions rose as the knights demanded the system that defeated the giant goblin. Monica intervened. The group, led by Monica, bowed respectfully to Lord Dominic, a figure of great power. Dominic confronted Monica sharply, questioning her loyalty and decision to abandon her post for personal reasons. Monica, upset, tried to defend her actions. Dominic's anger escalated, his reputation at stake. Shouting at Monica, Dominic emphasized the importance of loyalty to his family over the civilians' safety. The girl, desperate, clutches her uncle's arm, pleading for mercy for the injured Monica. Lady Amira urgently demands he stop, her words sharp, while his face hardens with disdain. As tension builds, the man raises his hand, signaling a dangerous confrontation looming between them. Takemichi stands resolute, his voice cold as he threatens to tear apart anyone who harms her. With a cruel smile, the man orders his forces to break limbs, determined to seize control. Lord Dominic challenges the defiant individual, threatening to make them regret opposing the four great nobles. Belial steps forward, trying to calm the situation, with the others recognizing a familiar figure. Lord Dominic reluctantly acknowledges Belial's presence, contemplating her role and authority in the current matter. With cold disdain, Lord Dominic declares his control over all, reinforcing his power and dominance. Meanwhile, a seemingly calm conversation unfolds, with a military invitation adding an unexpected twist to the tension. Belial calmly discusses the nobility's reluctance to engage in the Goblin War, citing their interests. Takemichi listens as they explain the difficulty in fighting multiple mid-rank hero-class enemies, considering reinforcements. The conversation shifts to Takamichi's defeat of the goblin leader. With his skills under scrutiny, Belial proposes an alliance, offering the freedom of his castle in exchange for joining her family. The tension rises as Takamichi questions her intentions, sensing a deeper, more complex offer. Takamichi, seemingly startled, is confronted by Belial's direct approach, asking if he desires her. The conversation takes a playful turn, with Belial offering to solve problems as part of the Adrian family. A kiss interrupts the moment, marking the tension between them as it intensifies. Belial, now with a smile, presents an advance payment, deepening the complex nature of her offer. The camera shifts to the looming fortress before Heltera's gate, suggesting a decisive confrontation is near. Lord Void is greeted by his followers, who express their gratitude for his life-saving intervention. The fortress now holds captives, with men forced into labor and women trapped in harsh conditions. The captives hope for a hero's rescue, but the Goblin Lord smirks, dismissing their optimism. A prisoner, humiliated, is displayed as a broken figure, her dignity stripped away by her tormentors. A close-up reveals the emotional strain on those watching, as their hope fades into despair. In the dim chamber, a sinister figure mocks his brother, enjoying the unfolding uneasy scene. A tense group observes. A reluctant woman hides emotions while being singled out cautiously. A graceful visitor arrives calmly, declaring future intentions, disrupting the fragile balance in the room. The man explains his restraint, masking true motives, as shadows cast doubt on his sincerity. The woman accepts defeat quietly, comforted unexpectedly by the visitor amid rival factions clashing beyond. The women share grim memories, silently hoping their family's leader will arrive before things worsen. Relaxed yet tense, the group discusses rumors of a mysterious force called the Fluffy Mantle. A casual question sparks uneasy curiosity, though many remain skeptical about the legend's truth. Whispers among recruits hint at a powerful warrior, stirring both hope and disbelief nearby. Suddenly a cloaked figure appears, commanding attention and changing the atmosphere in an instant. Takamichi arrives awkwardly, nervously expressing his desire to fight goblins despite inexperience and doubt. The officials carefully inspect Takamichi's documents, surprised but willing to accept his earnest request. Elite adventurers force their way through, showing confidence while Takamichi watches, feeling outmatched but determined. Veterans warmly greet Takamichi and others, inviting them to relax and share battle stories together. Promising protection, the seasoned adventurers assure Takamichi and recruits they'll support them in the field. Andy's playful gesture causes surprise, creating a mix of amusement and embarrassment among the group. The scene shifts as tension grows, with close scrutiny on delicate details under watchful eyes. Officials carefully examine recorded conditions, noting important information that could determine the adventurer's future fate. Mobilization begins rapidly as the city prepares, urgency riding on the call to arms. At a medical tent, nurses assess a rescued adventurer's injuries with concern and swift attention. A wounded woman suffers severe pain as helpers struggle to keep her conscious and stable. Concern spreads quickly when poisoning is suspected, prompting urgent calls for immediate assistance and treatment. The situation escalates violently, shocking everyone as the woman's condition suddenly worsens beyond control. Medical staff react with horror to the brutal internal damage revealed amidst desperate attempts to save her. Transformation overtakes the woman, her body breaking down in terrifying detail, while observers recoil in shock. A knight bursts into the scene, demanding urgent answers after witnessing a shocking event. Chaos erupts at the camp as more individuals suddenly experience violent, explosive symptoms without warning. Bystanders panic, warning each other of a dangerous poison that causes bodies to violently rupture. Tension grows as some decide to flee, fearing the spreading affliction and its deadly effects. Andy, nervously defensive, warns that others might also suffer hidden consequences, causing confusion and distrust. Andy rushes forward, urged on by a worried companion calling his name loudly in panic. Guards prepare to isolate a woman, worried about her condition after visiting the dangerous goblin den. One man stops others, fearing the woman might violently deteriorate during transport to another location. Observing the chaos, a mysterious figure remarks on the goblin's strange new activity with grim interest. Soldiers gather at a frontline camp, tension rising as the crisis from the goblin den grows. A group of warriors cautiously approach, determined to share urgent information that could change everything. Panic spreads rapidly as soldiers witness bodies exploding, realizing the military camp must be evacuated immediately. A female knight commands her troops to hold the line, unsure how to stop the chaos. Suddenly, an overwhelming explosion shakes the camp, devastating everything and leaving survivors in shock. Alarmed, soldiers try to identify the source of the attack amid flying debris and confusion. Charging goblin attackers appear, their fierce aggression threatening the last remaining defenders' survival chances. Captured individuals struggle fiercely, desperately resisting as hostile forces surround them with overwhelming control. The captors use a simple, cruel tactic to quickly overpower and subdue the prisoners. An observing figure smirks, noting how fragile humans are when faced with such harsh conditions. Their plans continue as prisoners are restrained, preparing for an uncertain and troubling fate. Promises of release are made, but the captors impose strict conditions before letting anyone go. A furious leader demands harsh punishment for women returning from the goblin's den without hesitation. Another voice urges calm, reminding the group many have returned safely and without issue. Belial proposes an alternative approach, having personally investigated the goblin's den recently. She suggests empowering soldiers to deal decisively with suspicious individuals, ensuring stronger, more peaceful fronts. Advocates argue for quarantine over execution, emphasizing the importance of these women as valuable forces. Suddenly, a knight clutches her stomach, causing alarm and a command to remove her immediately. The knight's condition worsens rapidly, prompting urgent warnings for a high-ranking officer to retreat. A miraculous change occurs as the knight's swelling reduces, leaving everyone stunned and hopeful. A mysterious visitor arrives, calmly observing the chaotic scene and offering to help solve the problem. Confronting Lord Takamichi, they demand an explanation for recent events amidst mounting suspicion and tension. Tension rises as Lord Takamichi is challenged to reveal his strategy to address ongoing crises. A secret plan is whispered quietly by an ally, promising a solution to the dilemma. Soldiers and mages receive urgent instructions about magical signals triggering hidden explosives on the battlefield. Defensive spells are cast swiftly, offering temporary protection against the enemy's magical detonations. Despite the temporary shield, the true challenge remains, finding a permanent way to disable the bombs. A solution emerges as a mysterious medicine is introduced, aiming to expel the hidden parasite. Commanders appoint the affected woman to take the medicine, hopeful for recovery and relief. Urgency strikes as she excuses herself, feeling the medicine's effects and needing privacy immediately. The leader reveals terrifying information about an aquatic toxic insect controlling enemies' tactics indirectly. Officials plan medicine distribution, confident it will protect humans without harmful side effects soon. Aura arrived quietly, interrupting the tense meeting. All eyes turned, curiosity mixed with unease. The group questioned her presence, worried about danger, but Violet's escort eased their concerns. A powerful leader requested Aura to create medicine for thousands urgently. Disbelief shadowed his face. Despite the overwhelming task, Aura calmly accepted, confident she could manage with some help nearby. She revealed a rare ingredient was essential, shifting the room's tension toward an urgent problem. Aura revealed the crucial ingredient was semen from Takamichi, causing shock and confusion around. Takamichi protested loudly, embarrassed as everyone stared and processed the unexpected demand ahead. Realization dawned on him about producing 10,000 milliliters within 3 urgent days. Violet anxiously asked Takamichi if she was truly attractive, vulnerable despite her quiet strength. Takamichi admitted men have limits, exhausted after their difficult task, reflecting the strain between them. He gave away what he collected to Aura, frustrated by his body's growing resistance. Marta confronted Takamichi sternly, accusing him of deceit, showing her protective and commanding nature. Marta teased him softly, questioning why the young lady favored him, mixing irritation with curiosity. Marta insulted Takamichi, criticizing his worth despite his importance, pushing his patience to its limits. Refusing further disturbance, Marta demanded rest, emphasizing her exhaustion and the seriousness of her role. Takamichi nervously acknowledged Marta's dominance as she asserted control with a commanding, confident presence. Clarifying orders, Takamichi expressed respect while insisting actions were strictly following the young lady's wishes. Marta challenged Takamichi playfully, provoking and pushing him toward completing the difficult and urgent task. She resisted playfully, instructing Takamichi firmly, trying to control their chaotic, intimate interaction. Takamichi's actions surprised her, pushing boundaries amid their strained yet intense cooperation. Marta demanded Takamichi take a more active role, expressing frustration and urgency in her tone. His nervous compliance showed the pressure he faced, balancing exhaustion and commitment to the task. Marta's teasing tightened the tension, revealing deeper layers of their complicated relationship under stress. Despite initial reluctance, Marta slowly gave in, her feelings conflicted but driven by duty. As the moments intensified, confusion arose within, her body reacting despite mental hesitation and doubt. Each passing second heightened both pressure and connection, blurring lines between obligation and unexpected desire. Takemichi carefully followed Marta's requests, trying to ease discomfort while meeting growing demands steadily. Nearing the climax, emotions and tension peaked, testing resolve as consequences of their situation unfolded. Marta asserted control, demanding care with her tail, as Takemichi accepted her firm instructions. Aura prepared a fresh batch, amazed by the large amount collected from their efforts. Lady Burial assured the group that Marta followed orders closely, her loyalty unwavering. An important message arrived from Romeo, requesting attendance at his upcoming wedding event. Romeo claimed most women while negotiating with the Goblin Fortress, demonstrating his confident authority. The enemy launched a powerful frontal assault, surprising everyone and revealing their commander's fierce temperament. Two mid-rank heroes prepared for battle, while their ally committed to providing strong support. Command was passed, signaling the team to advance, stepping onto defeated foes with confident determination. A skilled group assembled, led by a poised woman ready to initiate their strategic hunt. The team included Gilrion and Cetra, heroes designated to confront threats with calculated resolve. Camilla, Angelina, and Monica prepared to strike, determined to annihilate the goblin threat swiftly. Goblins hesitated but feared death, overwhelmed by unexpected attack as chaos erupted within dungeon walls. Shock spread quickly among the captives as their bonds were tested under sudden violent pressure. Cetra pleaded desperately, fearing punishment, begged forgiveness to avoid further suffering from their leader. A hero-class appearance brought hope. Cetra asked urgently for news about Lady Melody's fate. Confidence grew as Cetra recognized familiar goblin opponents, trusting experience to handle the dangerous threat. Explosions rocked the fortress as powerful attacks devastated buildings, causing chaos and fear among inhabitants. An armored warrior laughed confidently, mocking near-miss attacks while his companion expressed relief at escape. The giant charged forward, shouting commands with eagerness to engage enemies in close combat. Gilrion launched a furious assault, propelled by determination to protect vulnerable girls from harm. Lightning crackled as Gilrion's sword sliced through the air, signaling the start of a fierce battle. The goblin warned others not to interfere as destruction tore through the city streets rapidly. Buildings crumbled around the armored warrior, who was caught off guard by the sudden assault. Black spheres exploded violently, surprising the knight and shattering his powerful cannonball-like weapon instantly. Angelina stood firmly beside Gilrion, cautioning him while providing shield-like magical support during battle. A mischievous goblin prepared a weak defense skill, distracted by the arrival of a beautiful woman. Chains suddenly shattered, freeing the goblin who gasped in shock, struggling to move quickly. Startled, the goblin yelled, demanding to know who had interfered with his capture and chains. Magic circles appeared below, raising a mysterious woman in chains, marking her as a threat. A mischievous smile spread as the goblin prepared to have fun, unaware of looming danger. His crude promise showed desperation and cunning, vowing to do anything for survival and advantage. The goblin's teleportation was unexpectedly anticipated, surprising even the lower-ranked prisoner held in chains. Confusion reigned as the goblin suddenly appeared nearby, questioning the sudden shift in events. Magic circled the prisoner as an attack called Star-Binding Earth was unleashed with precision. The captive realized the power wielded was beyond mere perception, sensing something more profound. Gilrion and Angelina praised each other's efforts, aiming the weapon at the bound little goblin. A sinister figure commanded their monstrous legion, ready to deliver destruction and chaos without mercy. The army of horrors gathered around the leader, their loyalty unmatched as they prepared for battle. Dark wings spread wide, signaling the arrival of terrifying creatures poised to strike with deadly force. The leader confronted the enemies with confidence, mocking their attempts to challenge such overwhelming power. Light streaked across the sky as an unexpected attack surprised the forces, shifting the battle's momentum suddenly. The mysterious woman shattered the enemy ranks with power, sending foes flying amidst the debris. Creatures scattered wildly as her attack tore through their numbers, turning chaos into silence swiftly. Bright light surrounded her, signaling the end of the monstrous legion's reign of terror. Visible frustration showed on the enemy's face, shocked that his forces dissolved so easily. Bound captives begged for salvation, hoping Lady Camilla's arrival would finally bring their freedom. A powerful light struck the battlefield, scattering monsters and soldiers, marking the start of the assault. Chaos erupted everywhere as bodies flew, and destruction spread rapidly through the ranks of the legion. The leader's voice boomed with authority, demanding all enemies vanish or face complete extermination. Determined resolve formed in the leader's eyes, promising to eradicate the goblin species entirely. At the frontline camp, strict records marked progress. Duty demanded precise collection and composure. Two maids tracked the volume meticulously, their expressions focused as numbers approached a difficult goal. Within a private room, emotions intensified. One struggled to maintain composure amidst an intimate yet tense encounter. Playful accusations surfaced between them, masking deeper feelings of vulnerability beneath masked amusement and shared secrets. Meanwhile, Irina confessed quietly, hidden motives blurred as they joined the complex charged dynamics surrounding Takemichi. Amo anxiously questioned Takemichi about Sumi, suspicion and urgency layering their conversation in the shadowed room. Takemichi, caught mid-moment, denied knowing Sumi while deflecting with lighthearted teasing, heightening underlying tension. Discussion turned to Tsumi's mission to confront the goblin leader. Uncertain if she'd succeed or survive, Angelina's vision shifted suddenly, alarm spread across her face as she became aware of a grave threat. Separated from her body, Angelina stared helplessly, trapped and vulnerable, as mystery deepened around her fate. Angelina admitted overusing her powers, narrowly escaping death, trapped helplessly among shattered ruins and chaos. A strange figure teased her helpless form, warning her to stay still while enjoying control. Struggling without her body parts, Angelina tried to resist, but remained immobilized and uneasy. The captor's odd fascination grew apparent as they inspected her belongings, extending their strange game. Angered and embarrassed, Angelina fiercely rejected the opponent's bizarre behavior, voice sharp with clear defiance. Angelina struggled to read the stars under the dark canopy, sensing an ominous presence nearby. A massive shadow loomed over the ruined village, bringing destruction and fear to everyone inside. A knight fired repeatedly at the dark threat, but his attacks only seemed to strengthen it. The monstrous beetle bore armored protection, shrugging off assaults with terrifying power and deadly grace. A determined figure declared a change of heart, vowing to claim the demon as their true love. Angelina faced the armored beast, deflecting its mighty tail with surprised determination and swift reflexes. The monstrous scorpion swung its tail down, crushing the ground and destroying everything in its path. Ruins scattered as debris flew, but Angelina's calm gaze stayed fixed on the intimidating adversary. Magic circles glowed brightly, yet the attack seemed futile against the beast's thick, impenetrable armor. With a confident smile, Angelina prepared her ultimate spell. 7 stars, devastating divine punishment unleashed. The armored scorpion strikes fiercely, shaking the ground, demonstrating overwhelming power and relentless aggression. Attack after attack, the behemoth endures without faltering, leaving destruction in its devastating wake. Reflecting on the battle's outcome, the mage acknowledges the limited display of her full strength. The villain smiles, declaring his discovery of the love he sought, filled with dark delight. Her eyes widen as she contemplates an unusual alliance forming, hinting at unexpected, dangerous plans ahead. A captive woman stands tense as a sinister figure demands a twisted demonstration of loyalty and power. In the fortress dungeon, prisoners hang helplessly as a traitor is accused and restrained without mercy. Lady Melody confronts a captive, demanding answers while facing the harsh reality of betrayal and survival. The tormentor takes advantage of the situation, while the captive struggles, desperate to maintain dignity. A man offers false comfort, trying to persuade the captive to surrender to darker choices. An ally arrives, shocking everyone as tension mounts between rescue and further conflict in the dungeon. Captive Lady Melody is saved as heroes arrive, surprising everyone in the dungeon's grim darkness. Power Sealing Collar restricts Melody's magic. Her companions discuss its removal with grim determination. Cetra offers to remove the magical collar herself, revealing the arrival of more hero-class allies. A warning unfolds. The rescue mission is actually a trap. A deadlier enemy awaits them. Unexpected guests appear, causing the group to tense up amidst uneasy introductions and hidden threats. The goblin reveals his plan to marry Helena, awaiting her sister with insistent intent nearby. Suddenly, a change of heart emerges from the goblin, shifting his dangerous intentions unexpectedly. Charm and manipulation mix as the goblin expresses desire for the ideal love with Helena. Helena resists the goblin's coercive charm, struggling to maintain control amid rising pressure. Confident and taunting, the goblin dismisses resistance, questioning the belief that hostage influences obedience. The goblin's plan unfolds as powerful magic is unleashed, reshaping the battlefield dramatically and dangerously. Helena defies expectation, targeting her sister from afar with precise determination despite the difficult choice. She reflects quietly, emphasizing that family means blood relations, a definition that guides her actions. The goblin coldly condemns betrayal, pleading self-preservation while exposing his true nature and intentions. Helena confronts the goblin's offenses, declaring a greater sin that sets the stage for judgment. The goblin grins widely, unleashing a powerful beam of energy that tears through the battlefield. Helena shocks her opponent by targeting her sister, turning family bonds into a weapon unexpectedly. She declares family means blood relations, challenging the enemy's distorted view of loyalty and kinship. The goblin condemns betrayal and pleads selfishly for survival, exposing his true nature under pressure. Resuming the fight, the goblin confidently prepares, dismissing his opponent's attack as easily predictable. The attacking force flies through a mysterious shifting barrier while the enemy watches with surprise. She calmly invokes a powerful 7-star technique, preparing to counter the incoming threat decisively. A complex magical trap ensnares the attackers, creating an unexpected obstacle during the fierce battle. Helena narrowly escapes collapse, crediting her protective earrings for shielding her from fatal harm. Pain strikes as the battle rages on, yet survival depends on both skill and luck. Helena refuses to leave Helterra alone, determined despite the devastation surrounding her and allies. The goblin threatens Helena with extinction, confident his victory is within reach against the weakened foe. She commands the 7-star technique, channeling immense power to counter the looming threat decisively. Helena notices the power's absence and questions the presence of a mid-ranking star priest nearby. In the void where starlight fades, a mysterious figure challenges the efficacy of her powers. Cetra arrives unexpectedly, shocking the goblin, who eagerly recognizes his mother's powerful intervention nearby. The boyish servant boasts playfully as a hooded figure questions the location of the other heroes. The hooded individual coldly announces intentions to strip both magic and power, escalating the desperate battle. Angelina struggles under the black canopy's pressure as the fortress outskirts are swallowed by darkness. A deep pit siphons their magic energy, draining strength from heroes held captive within grasping hands. Cetra's desperate pleas urge for dispelling magic, while captives endure intense power absorption painfully. Angelina's magic weakens rapidly, tainted and corrupted by dark forces consuming the energy she relies on. The source of the power drain lies below, devouring magic and threatening to end their fight. The mysterious force pulsates within, hiding beneath a black canopy on the fortress outskirts. The ritual magic extracts forbidden power from others, creating powerful hero-class goblins through dark means. Cetra and the hooded figure discuss Helterra's control, knowing the risks of its unstable power. Magic ranks differ greatly, yet the unknown dark magic beneath Helterra might change the balance. Helena listens intently, realizing the absorption of magic alone cannot fully create such immense power. A strange pulsating force grows beneath the black canopy, threatening to consume all nearby energy. The hooded figure explains the forbidden ritual magic, stealing vitality to create powerful goblins. Cetra and the other discuss the limits of their power and the threat Helterra poses. Adventurers express shock and concern as defenses falter. Realizing the situation's danger and unpredictability, captured women suffer at the hands of their captors, emphasizing the dire circumstances and looming conflict. Nicholas and Athena express shock and disbelief at the sudden collapse of their heroic ally. The command post receives grim news about the mysterious black canopy swallowing soldiers and civilians alike. Tensions rise as nobles debate retreat, facing the harsh reality of lost territory and falling comrades. Nicholas's anger erupts, questioning how goblins gained such power while a comrade offers a drink. Aura presents a calming medicinal tea, attempting to ease the leader's rising anxiety and stress. The healer assures Nicholas that a key individual is already moving to handle their growing crisis. Nicholas responds angrily, doubting the importance of the mysterious person and dismissing concerns from the healer. Cetra asks how they will break the magical restraint as the tension in the room grows. Camilla suggests a plan, distracting the enemy while searching for ways to escape the dark barrier. Suddenly, realization strikes Helena as she notices a hidden detail that might change their desperate situation. The woman struggles confidently against the dark bonds, showing resilience despite the overwhelming magical restraint. Surprised allies watch as she attacks her captors, creating a brief opportunity to fight back. A fierce battle ensues as the restraints weaken and the woman prepares to break free. Lightning crackles toward a monstrous foe, signaling a powerful counterattack threatening to turn the tide. Suddenly, a bug-like creature attacks the woman, forcing urgent defensive action from her and her allies. The woman narrowly escapes danger, breaking free and launching a sudden counterattack against the attacking creature. Shadows tighten around her as she struggles, propelled by determination to survive and protect others. She flees through the forest, urgent to inform allies about the traitor and powerful enemy. Unexpectedly, a giant insect-like creature attacks, forcing her into defensive action amid mounting peril. Pain strikes as she battles, showing resilience despite overwhelming odds threatening her life and mission. The creature expresses anger and heartbreak, feeling deceived and emotionally torn, confronting the woman in chains. Striking back, a warning declares that betrayal by a woman is completely unacceptable and dangerous. Helena listens intently, but confusion clouds her expression. Romeo insists marriage is the only option for her family's safety. Tension rises as Romeo's demand becomes more desperate, offering power in exchange for love, his words insistent. Helena's defiance shows, her smile cold and twisted. She has made her decision. Romeo will face her wrath. Romeo's disgust is evident. He mocks her, but Helena's control remains. There's no turning back now. Despite her pleas, Romeo is resolute, determined to force her into submission, his last words threatening. Helena grits her teeth, anger boiling. Romeo taunts her, anticipating her reaction to his power. The moment is interrupted. Helena's expression shifts as she feels the threat intensify, struggling against him. With a fierce glare, Helena retaliates, revealing her hidden strength, determined to turn the tables. Romeo's mockery continues, but Helena is unrelenting. Her master's orders ring in her mind. Takemichi appears, shifting the balance of power. Helena, caught off guard, questions his intentions. Takemichi apologizes for his late arrival, explaining his sensing skill wasn't strong enough initially. Helena thanks Takemichi for arriving in time, knowing he rushed to help, her expression soft. Suddenly, Helena uses her power, her anger visible. Takemichi's face turns to one of concern. As the battle intensifies, Takemichi protects Helena, asking if there's any possible escape route. Amid the chaos, a voice from the shadows warns of the impossible odds, urging retreat. Romeo's eyes flash with frustration as he declares the situation hopeless, his demeanor darkening. The threat is imminent as a swarm of insects surrounds them, controlled by Helena's power. Helena confidently summons her forest army, the insects closing in, their power overwhelming the enemy. Takemichi, shocked by the danger, questions the goblin's involvement with the attack on Violet and Helena. Furious, Takemichi confronts the goblin, vowing revenge for harming his woman, the air tense with anger. The goblin is taken aback by the immense pressure, questioning the intimidating force that just emerged. Takemichi's grip tightens as he prepares to use a new skill, sensing the growing threat. Without hesitation, Takemichi unleashes the skill, determined to strike at the enemy despite overwhelming odds. The insects surge forward, but Takemichi stands firm, a resolute expression marking his unwavering resolve. The insects, once under control, suddenly die, their vital energy drained in an instant by Takemichi's power. The goblin watches in horror, unable to comprehend the sudden drain of vital energy, even from him. The entire landscape changes, a vast, desolate area where life has been erased entirely by death. Helena, shocked by the aftermath, stares at the devastation, realizing something even more sinister has occurred. Takemichi turns toward Helena, his expression hardening. He is not pleased with the consequences they now face. Desperately, the goblin pleads for his life, revealing the threat of human bombs he set. Takemichi focused on his uncompleted skill, preparing to unleash its power in battle. A goblin stared at Takemichi, trembling in fear, realizing the impending death was inevitable. The goblin's body began to break down, as it realized the inevitable outcome of death. Life began to sprout from the goblin's decaying body, signaling a shift in its essence. Suddenly, the surroundings changed as the goblin's energy transferred into the creation of a new ecosystem. Takemichi explains that his technique was used by a powerful being to alter nature. He reveals the fate of the goblin, who will suffer alongside the forest in eternal loneliness. The goblin experiences continuous agony from the insects, its torment becoming its eternal punishment. Takemichi ensures the goblin hasn't experienced the worst yet, smiling as he prepares for more. She is shocked by Takemichi's transformation, realizing the dark side of the person she trusted. Romeo's delay unsettles the situation. The ritual ends, and frustration rises in the air. Struggling against the restraints, she questions why her will falters, despite her powerful nature. Her power drains, leaving her helpless as the villain smirks, mocking her inability to fight back. Exhaustion takes hold as the figures above observe her weakening, their words thick with cruel satisfaction. The moment breaks, desperation fills the air, signaling the villain's looming, unrelenting approach to victory. Angelina grits her teeth as disturbing words pierce the air, her frustration becoming more evident. A taunting proposition is made, the air thick with tension as Angelina responds defiantly. A sharp comment causes silence, exposing hidden fears and unresolved tension between the characters. The atmosphere grows heavier, with unresolved emotions and power struggles coming to the surface. The stakes rise as desperation fills the air, creating a sense of inevitable confrontation. In a quiet alley, a casual encounter unfolds. The tension starts to build, unspoken. A soft contradiction emerges, as both satisfaction and unease linger, hinting at deeper desires. A moment of reflection occurs, revealing a realization about what is truly missing from their connection. The story shifts, as the discovery of something new opens the door to uncertainty. The air grows thick with anticipation, and an overwhelming sense of inner conflict takes hold. An unspoken obsession takes root, his secret actions reflecting a growing hidden desire for control. With newfound power, he savors his triumph, basking in the dominance he's now acquired. The satisfaction from his actions leaves him feeling strangely empty, as something remains unfulfilled. A dark realization creeps in, the sense of power is overwhelming, yet it brings unease. Now indifferent, the excitement fades. What once thrilled him feels shallow and hollow, lacking meaning. Irritation grows, leading to an unexpected outburst, which results in something chaotic and uncontrollable. The violence escalates as he declares his actions, the consequences undeniable as bodies fall around. A grim realization sets in. Her twisted thoughts emerge, showing her unexpected acceptance of her fate. Angelina's cynicism shows, as she confronts the goblin's twisted nature, yet no fear remains. Exhaustion takes over, as frustration gives way to grim acceptance of the endless cycle of torment. A sudden interruption shakes the scene, with shock and confusion marking the characters' reactions. Tensions rise rapidly, with voices clashing as urgent emotions fuel an unexpected argument and outburst. Amidst the chaos, someone's dark realization takes form. The situation now feels even more desperate. The conflict intensifies as a deeper frustration boils over, with taunts and anger mingling. Takemichi arrives, bringing fresh tension into the already chaotic scene, adding mystery. Takemichi crashes into the ground, his body flung back by an unexpected force. Angelina's face reflects shock. He struggles, grunting, as his body contorts in pain, landing harshly on the rough terrain. Takemichi shouts, trying to steady himself, his movements chaotic. Angelina, with fear in her eyes, watches helplessly. The tension heightens as Takemichi forces a bold advance, overwhelming the space between them with force. Angelina's expression shifts, confused and overwhelmed by Takemichi's sudden intensity, unsure of his next move. Takemichi realizes his mistake, apologizing quickly as Angelina reacts sharply to the unexpected situation. Her frustration grows as she protests, not tolerating the discomfort of the current position. The intensity escalates as her reaction becomes more expressive, caught between discomfort and reluctant tension. With a mix of annoyance and confusion, she challenges Takemichi, questioning his repeated mistakes and actions. Takemichi reflects on his mistake, apologizing, realizing that his actions have caused unintentional discomfort for Angelina. Angelina, struggling with her feelings, tries to clarify her thoughts, confused by the sensation she's feeling. Her body trembles as she experiences a powerful reaction, the situation growing more intense and confusing. Takemichi checks on her, his concern evident as she shakes uncontrollably, caught between emotions and physical sensations. Elsewhere, a new danger looms as enemies discuss the shifting alliances and the presence of an unexpected threat. Melody senses something troubling and expresses concern as Camilla avoids answering, hinting at deeper conflict. Camilla grows defensive, revealing confusion about Helena, raising questions about hidden connections or misunderstandings. Helena's true nature is questioned, as a new character reacts violently, adding tension to the situation. Takemichi reacts sharply, demanding an explanation, his frustration visible as he confronts the unexpected conflict. A powerful magical attack is unleashed. Takemichi counters with an advanced technique, intensifying the battle further. The goblin warns Takemichi, acknowledging his incredible abilities, while others watch cautiously, unsure of his limits. Takemichi unleashes a devastating void attack, showcasing his power, while his allies brace for impact. Takemichi, unfazed, expresses frustration, his calm demeanor contrasting with the chaotic environment around him. He activates the space-time anchor suit, preparing to counter the incoming magic and physical attacks. Despite the shock, Takemichi explains his mastery over space magic, revealing his origins and the countermeasures. The goblin realizes the power of Takemichi's ring, stunned by his ability to manipulate the void. Frustration builds as the goblin unleashes his magic, creating voids to attack the others relentlessly. Takemichi, still in control, struggles with the ongoing chaos, his focus shifting between the battle and his actions. With a swift and powerful move, Takemichi retaliates, using his great spin to regain dominance. Angelina recalls a crucial detail, remembering a device linked to her earlier experiences with overwhelming sensations. Takemichi's nervous tension builds as he feels the warmth, unsure of his actions, battling discomfort. Angelina's body trembles in intense emotion, her outburst echoing the overwhelming sensation that grips her. Takemichi pauses, questioning himself, while Angelina rests, her thoughts swirling amid a moment of completion. Unexpectedly, the attack halts, and Takemichi notices the sudden shift, unsure of what to do. A new opponent emerges, questioning the mysterious force, realizing Takemichi might be the legendary figure. The goblin, frustrated, struggles to escape, realizing his mother's techniques might be his only hope. He grabs the goblin with ease, questioning his attempt to flee, revealing the creature's helplessness. Takemichi decides to seal the goblin's power, unsure of how to deal with this nuisance. Two women prepare to take the goblin to an academy, aiming to study him thoroughly. The goblin, terrified, pleads for mercy as the women discuss their plans for cruel experiments. Angelina lies on the ground, clearly dissatisfied with the outcome, expressing frustration at the situation. Takemichi questions her confusion, pointing out her reluctance despite his help and the aid given. A shift in perspective occurs as Takemichi urges her to acknowledge the situation, showing concern. Takemichi's explanation confounds her, leading to further confusion. But she starts to realize something unexpected. His sly grin suggests a hidden agenda, his words implying that there's more to this. Angelina struggles with embarrassment, blaming her body's reaction on the unfamiliar sensation, unaware of Takemichi's support. Realizing her newfound strength, Angelina is shocked to discover a sudden power surge within her. Surrounded by witnesses, she realizes her strength has significantly increased, revealing her unexpected rank promotion. Takemichi and Verlaine discuss the implications of the promotion, hinting at a powerful connection to her origins. The forest was their only escape. The group rushed to inform Helterra of the crisis. Suddenly the path ahead became visible. The light promised hope as they reached their goal. In the distance, Helterra Castle loomed large, its towering walls beckoning them to hurry. Outside the gates, chaos erupted. Massive creatures smashed through barriers, leaving destruction in their wake. The enemy's siege was relentless. They prepared for the battle that would determine Helterra's fate. Powerful magic clashed with the enemies. The battle raged on as chaos spread across the field. From the castle, the commander saw the overwhelming enemy forces. Despair filled their hearts. Evacuation efforts continued by sea. Citizens rushed to escape, but the enemy advanced swiftly. A debate ensued within the castle. Desperate measures were being considered to save the city. A dire warning came. Lord Dominic's life was at risk as the situation worsened. The castle walls crumbled under attack. The battle intensified as enemies breached the outer defenses. Suddenly, a strange moving stone caused panic. It wasn't just debris, something worse was approaching. Shocked soldiers realized the threat was real. They narrowly avoided an attack, but fear was growing. Goblin forces infiltrated the castle. Panic spread as the defenders struggled to repel the attackers. Lord Dominic led his men, sword in hand, slashing through goblins. The fight continued fiercely. Dominic refused to flee. Determined to protect his city, he fiercely struck down approaching goblins. Suddenly, the massive Goblin King appeared. The castle's walls had been breached, and chaos followed. Dominic, furious, questioned the absence of elite fighters. Only a few were left to defend. Facing the Goblin King, Dominic prepared for a final stand. A fierce battle was imminent. The battle escalated. The Goblin King's massive strike shattered the air, shaking the ground violently. A skilled fighter appeared, striking at the Goblin King. Her speed caught even the king off guard. She introduced herself as Susanna, the guild master of the Tiger King Fist. Her presence was powerful. Dominic couldn't help but acknowledge Susanna's strength. Her confidence in the fight was undeniable. Their banter continued as allies joined Susanna. A group of elite fighters rushed to her side. The conversation shifted to a deeper topic. The heroes shared their experiences, uniting in their resolve. The group rallied together. Their shared determination to protect Helterra was stronger than ever. At the Witch Academy, Luna and Mariri prepared to defend their school, awaiting Takamichi's arrival. Luna, visibly passionate, defended her admiration for Takamichi. Mariri teasingly noted her growing feelings for him. Luna's resolve grew stronger as siege magic filled the sky. The Academy's destruction was imminent. In the face of danger, Luna's shield formation activated, bracing for the incoming magical assault. A large defense magic circle surrounds the city. It's astonishing how wide it stretches. Marta receives news of the magic barrier being successfully activated. The system is fully operational. Despite success, the output is questioned. Everyone enjoys it, but Marta is less than pleased. She now, with her sword, prepares for battle. Belial seems intrigued by the defense circle. Marta is confused as the goblin assault halts suddenly. A shift in the battle arises. As the massive army approaches, suspicion grows that the enemy is planning something far worse. A figure dressed in a cloak signals the beginning of something monumental, sending ripples across the battlefield. The towering figure of the Goblin Queen emerges, challenging the very core of the defenders' resolve. Her presence shakes the land as the Goblin Queen steps forward, ready to settle old scores. The massive ship prepares to leave the port, filled with evacuees seeking refuge from the disaster. As the ship sets sail, a sense of unease grows when a strange whirlpool appears in the harbor. A massive force emerges, destroying the ship as chaos unfolds. People are thrown into the sea. The captain, struggling to stay afloat, recognizes a familiar presence emerging from the wreckage. A towering figure appears, announcing the arrival of doom as the monstrous Sea King rises from the depths. The destructive force of the Sea King's tentacle crashes into the city, sending panicked people fleeing. Amid the chaos, the sea creature's attack forces people to recognize Lagoon's deadly arrival in the city. One soldier, holding his comrade, reflects on the revenge sought by Lagoon for his fallen son. Lagoon, unfazed, declares that Baton's death means little, blaming weakness rather than revenge for his actions. Standing victorious, Lagoon explains his alliance with the goblins, showing his full intent to conquer the city. Lagoon reveals his intent to become an upper-rank hero, crushing anything in his path. The ground trembles as Lagoon's power grows, leaving destruction in his wake. While he ascends, a dark force envelops the landscape, signaling Lagoon's full transformation as a mighty being. From a distant tower, two watch, confused and alarmed by the unfolding events. The second figure questions Lagoon's actions, unsure of the growing threat that looms ahead. Lagoon's colossal form towers over the landscape as his power continues to grow, threatening all. With a determined expression, Lagoon focuses, his eyes glowing as he targets the city below. A series of magic circles appear in the air, signaling a powerful attack aimed at destruction. The energy unleashed travels swiftly, tearing through the city's structures, leaving chaos and devastation behind. Amid the wreckage, a figure is violently thrown, their scream echoing as the town crumbles. Dominic struggles to rise from the rubble, realizing the immense power behind the destruction. The magical barrier protecting the holy city has been shattered, and Dominic wonders if the gate is the target. Lagoon appears, greeting Dominic with familiarity, acknowledging the ease with which the barrier was destroyed. Dominic, angered, questions Lagoon's intentions, while confronting his old adversary about the Goblin Alliance. In a tense moment, Lagoon smirks, mocking Dominic's fate, as another ally urges him to escape. The fighter strikes Lagoon in an attempt to challenge him, but he remains unfazed. Lagoon retaliates, capturing the fighter, his grip tightening as he lifts her off the ground. The fighter struggles to break free, cursing Lagoon's strength while defying his overwhelming power. Lagoon mocks her defiance, suggesting he should teach her a lesson for her persistence. As the fighter gasps for air, Dominic, weakened, desperately crawls forward, urging her to escape. Dominic is praised for his actions. A sense of dominance and discipline fills the air. In a lavish ballroom, Dominic observes the indulgent behaviors of others with a calm, critical gaze. The power dynamics are stark. Some are seen as tools while others stand as leaders. Dominic embraces his destiny, his belief in his superiority firm, ignoring the struggles around him. Survival becomes Dominic's priority as he decides to flee, realizing that protection is essential for him. Dominic faces a strong elf adventurer, being advised to surrender despite her formidable presence and strength. The elf challenges the nobility, questioning their true mission, showing frustration with their lack of action. A heated argument ensues, accusing noble warriors of exploiting the weak, hiding behind shields for protection. The elf passionately defends her concept of nobility, focusing on peace, protection, and leadership in crises. Dominic hesitates, conflicted by the elf's challenge. As she confronts him with the consequences of his actions, Dominic, still conflicted, mentions his father, but his uncertainty begins to show on his face. The elf confronts Dominic about his father's actions, revealing Monica's capture and the village's downfall. Dominic demands an explanation, questioning his father's betrayal as he remembers his promise to Monica. His father harshly explains the discipline of power, emphasizing protection and his role as a hawk. Dominic's doubts grow, struggling with his father's logic, and wonders if true honor is attainable. The healer challenges Dominic's view of nobility, suggesting he must face difficult decisions to lead. Dominic internally struggles with his beliefs, feeling conflicted about using people as shields for protection. A powerful figure stands amidst destruction, lost in confusion, unsure of the outcome they face. The character questions why someone would risk their life for corrupt nobles, full of disdain. Defiantly, the character insists that nobles, despite their flaws, have the power to save lives. The character mocks noble protection, recalling how Dominic fled, questioning the worth of such promises. A battle unfolds as Dominic unleashes his powers, striking fiercely against enemies in a moment of rage. Dominic, now feeling conflicted, questions his role, frustrated by his inability to be the protector. Despite his doubts, he draws on his power, determined to defend, yet questioning his purpose. In a moment of uncertainty, Dominic teleports away, pondering his failure to protect the innocent. Dominic confidently declares his plan, but is ambushed unexpectedly by a formidable opponent from behind. The antagonist mocks Dominic, underestimating him. As Dominic is struck with a powerful blow, Dominic, overwhelmed by the attack, struggles to maintain his footing, the situation becoming dire. A clash erupts as Dominic retaliates, demonstrating his strength, while the villain remains determined. Despite the chaos, the villain seems to enjoy the battle, taunting Dominic for more intense combat. Dominic questions his actions, feeling conflicted. Despite his abilities, he wonders if running away is best. The opponent acknowledges Dominic's strength, but reveals his knowledge of the forbidden spell's toll. He taunts Dominic, expressing that even with such power, he's nowhere near a true hero class. Dominic fights back, but his opponent continues to press on, showing no sign of giving in. With a devastating blow, the enemy proves his dominance, leaving Dominic stunned and struggling to rise. Dominic, enraged, threatens to harm anyone who hurts the adventurer woman, standing defiantly with sword raised. He warns that anyone attacking her will make an enemy out of him, his resolve unyielding. With urgency, Dominic reveals he saved the forest elves and vows to protect her in return. The elf acknowledges her new commitment to protect Dominic, now fully aligned with him. Despite his injuries, Dominic asks for the situation to be left to him, determined to resolve it. The elf stands strong, calling out to her lord, ready to protect him against all threats.